Chapter 329. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Tell me more about the situation. Knight Sorrow asked. He handed the original jade token to Sikong Chuyu and a newly carved jade token to Yang Lei. All right, I'll tell you about our thunder rumbling sect's most valuable treasure. Lei Bao said with pride. The Thunder Rumbling Tower was a top-grade spiritual artifact and had already produced an artifact spirit. Every floor of the tower corresponded to a corresponding cultivation level. The last floor after every 9 floors was a special area for safe recovery. It was also a cultivation area with extremely dense spiritual energy. This was the reward for passing the 9th level. That way, every 10 levels corresponded to a major stage. The Thunder Rumbling Tower was filled with energy. The test of every level was the attack of energy beasts and energy cultivators. Only by defeating them could one pass. After passing the level, one could absorb the energy to cultivate. This was also the reward for passing the level. Looks interesting. We can't have more than one person, right? Also, how does one defeat an energy attacker? Knight Sorrow asked. Many people can pass the tower at the same time. Every floor of the Thunder Rumbling Tower has many small spaces. As for how to defeat an energy attacker, the Thunder Rumbling Tower's artifact spirit will judge. Lei Bao explained to Knight Sorrow. The Thunder Rumbling Tower is really domineering. 9th senior sister, does our sect's 8 dragon cauldron have an artifact spirit? Knight Sorrow asked. Of course. Without an artifact spirit, our Grand Elder Hua can control it. It's because the artifact spirit doesn't approve of it that Grand Elder Hua can only use a portion of the 8 Dragon Cauldron's abilities. Yang Lei nodded. As they chatted, they arrived at the Thunder Rumbling Tower. In front of the Thunder Rumbling Tower, there was a green-robed elder sitting cross-legged in a green pavilion. Lei Bao stepped forward and took out Lei Juyun's token and explained the situation of Knight Sorrow and the others. You can enter now. The first 30 levels are free of spirit stones. However, after the 40th level, you will have to pay spirit stones. This is the rule of our Thunder Rumbling sect. The green-robed elder said and took out a few jade tokens. Thank you, Lord Elder. Lei Bao bowed and received the jade tokens. Then he was about to pay the spirit stones. Brother Lei Bao, we'll do it ourselves. How do we pay the spirit stones? Knight Sorrow couldn't let Lei Bao spend money. Below the 20th floor, each floor costs a low-grade spirit stone. From the 30th to the 40th floor, each floor costs a mid-grade spirit stone. From the 50th to the 60th floor, each floor costs a high-grade spirit stone. This time, you don't have to pay for floors below the 30th floor. In addition, you can stay in the tower for a maximum of 3 days. Lei Bao gave the jade tablets that the green-robed elder had given to Yishang and the others. Same. That's for you. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Listen to me. I want the same thing as 9th senior sister. The mysterious ice jade has the effect of calming the mind. You won't miss it, right? Sikong Chuyu said to Knight Sorrow while holding the blood thread jade token. Okay. Knight Sorrow understood that Sikong Chuyu was thinking for him. He took the jade token and helped Sikong Chuyu tie the newly carved mysterious ice jade token to his waist. Lei Zhang, we need to work hard. Lei Bao said from the side. You're the one who needs to work hard. I have a goal. Lei Zhang said proudly. Okay. You're all ruthless. Lei Bao was speechless. Sikong Chuyu smiled at Knight Sorrow and went to climb the tower. At this time, it was time for Yishang to pay the bill. Yishang calculated for a moment and took out 30 mid-grade spirit stones. Then, he took out 10 high-grade spirit stones and handed them to the old man. Okay. If there's more, I can return it to you. The old man said. By the way, you two don't stay idle. Let's go together. Knight Sorrow took out 20 middle-grade spirit stones and gave them to the old man. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com. You have a lot of money. We can't afford it. Lei Bao said. They usually do various tasks and can only earn a few middle-grade spirit stones. They can't take out so many middle-grade spirit stones like Knight Sorrow, let alone upper-grade spirit stones. Okay, let's go in. Those who came out first, Wait a moment. Night Sorrow stood up and walked into the Thunder Tower. He was also anxious to see the magic of the Thunder Tower. Equals plus forever. Hashtag free carrot read square root novels % as he stepped through the door. Night Sorrow found himself in a gray misty space. Night Sorrow just stood still and a demonic wolf rushed towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow stepped sideways and dodged. He then observed and found that it was an energy demonic wolf. The energy it contained was around level 1 Qi refining. Night Sorrow waved his spear and pierced the demonic wolf's head. With Night Sorrow's spear, the demonic wolf dispersed and changed into a small ball of energy. Night Sorrow glanced at it and didn't absorb it. This bit of energy was meaningless to him. At this time, a staircase appeared in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow carried the reincarnation spear and entered the second floor of the Thunder Tower. It was still an energy demonic beast, but its cultivation was at level 2 Qi refining. After piercing through the demonic beast's head, Night Sorrow continued to advance. When he pierced through the demonic beast's head, a staircase appeared. Night Sorrow's speed was extremely fast as he continuously charged upwards. Lei Zheng, you go ahead. I won't go in for the time being. I'll go in next time. Otherwise, it would be impolite if we were still inside when he came out. Lei Bao said. Let's wait together. Lei Zheng nodded. Okay. Then I'll record this debt. Since the honored guest has arrived, you should properly receive him. This is courtesy. The green-robed old man was very satisfied with Lei Bao and Lei Zheng's attitude. There were 3 tablets on the table in front of the green-robed old man. These were the jade tablets that Night Sorrow and the other 2 carried. They could show the height of Night Sorrow and the others. At this moment, the 3 tablets were constantly flashing. Soon, Night Sorrow entered the 30th floor. The Night Sorrow, who didn't consume much energy, continued to charge forward. He didn't notice that the jade tablet that Lei Bao gave him was constantly glowing. Every time he advanced to a floor, it would light up. That young man's battle strength is very strong. It seems that every time he kills an energy demonic beast, he wouldn't have such speed. The green-robed old man said. Night Sorrow continued to advance. He was at the middle stage of level 4 spirit severing stage. If he needed to train, it would be after the 40th floor. Cultivating here was a complete waste of time. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, Night Sorrow rushed to the 40th floor. The 40th floor didn't have any energy demonic beasts attacking it. It was a resting area and also an area with extremely dense energy. Many people who came to this area would consume a lot of energy. They would need to rest for a while before charging forward or cultivating here. Shaking his neck, Night Sorrow didn't stop here. He continued to advance because he didn't consume much energy. After entering the 41st floor, the energy demonic beast that appeared was no longer a demonic beast. Instead, it was a humanoid energy body. There was a halo on its body. It was a protective energy. The yellow halo showed that this opponent was of the earth attribute. Night Sorrow took a step forward and charged towards the humanoid energy demonic beast. The reincarnation spear was filled with vibration force. Bang! With a muffled sound, the humanoid energy demonic beast's right arm was shaken off. Night Sorrow's swift and fierce spear directly pierced through the head of the humanoid energy demonic beast. Then, not far from Night Sorrow, a staircase appeared again. Chapter 330. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After the humanoid guard was defeated, it turned into energy. The intensity of the energy was very high, so Night Sorrow began to meditate and refine it. This place was very strange. The energy produced by defeating the energy guards floated in the air and did not disperse at all. Night Sorrow only used a quarter of an hour to refine this mass of energy. This mass of energy was very pure and did not need to be refined. It was much purer than the energy provided by pills. Moreover, it was very gentle and easy to refine. Night Sorrow then got up and walked up the stairs to the 42nd floor. On the 42nd floor, there was also a humanoid guard. Its protective halo was green, and it was obviously of the wind attribute. Night Sorrow's feet shook as he executed soaring dragon steps, blocking the movement path of the wind attribute guard, following which, he thrust out his reincarnation spear. The wind attribute guardian quickly retreated. As it retreated, It threw a punch at the tip of Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Fists were weapons, and every part of the energy guardian's body was a weapon. Bang! An explosion of energy rang out and the wind attribute guardian's arm was shattered into fragments of energy. At the same time, the energy within its body fluctuated unstably. Night Sorrow pushed with his right hand, and the reincarnation spear pierced through the guard's head. After receiving Night Sorrow's spear, the wind-attributed guard's body dissipated. Then, it gathered again and turned into a ball of pure energy. At the same time, the stairs appeared. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs. The moment the stairs appeared, the third jade plate in front of the green-robed elder lit up. How is this guy so fast? The green-robed elder looked at Night Sorrow's jade tablet in shock. Elder, Night Sorrow fought with the Holy Sun of Holy Light Temple in the Fallen Leaves Grand Canyon and was not defeated. That Holy Sun is at the peak of Spirit Severing Stage. Lei Bao said. It's easy to defeat your opponent, but it's difficult to kill them instantly. The two girls in front of you are only on the 39th and 37th floor, the green-robed elder said after glancing at Yang Lei's and Sikong Chuyu's tokens. We all know that he is very strong. Elder, you don't have to be shocked. Lei Zhang said with a smile. This was his second grandfather, so he was more familiar with him. Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and absorbed the energy. After tidying up his robe, Night Sorrow continued to move forward. The next few floors didn't pose any difficulty to Night Sorrow at all. Sweeping his way through, Night Sorrow reached the 47th floor. Brother Bao, the record for skipping levels has been refreshed. Your record of skipping 2 levels is gone. Night Sorrow is now level 3, Lei Jing said. It's not just level 3, he can definitely make another breakthrough, Lei Bao said. Lei Bao, are you sure? The old man asked. Yes, when this disciple faced the Holy Son of the Holy Light sect, he didn't have the strength to fight back. However, Night Sorrow was able to fight against him. It can be seen that he already has the strength of a peak spirit severing stage expert, Lei Bao said. After absorbing the energy on the 47th floor, Night Sorrow found that his cultivation had reached the peak of the 4th level of the spirit severing stage. His myriad Dao Tomes cultivation had also reached the peak of the 8th level of the bone forging stage. As he went up one floor after another, he absorbed one pure energy after another. Night Sorrow's cultivation rose very quickly. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow decided to break through on the spot. Otherwise, there would be no point in continuing. Sitting down cross-legged, Night Sorrow began to break through. He wasn't a sloppy person. Once he decided to break through, he wouldn't hesitate. Night Sorrow's breakthrough lasted for 4 hours without any movement. This made Lei Bao, Lei Zhang, and the green-robed elder feel very strange. This was because at this time, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu had already entered the 50th floor to cultivate for a while. What's going on? He can't be heavily injured, right? Lei Zhang said worriedly. No, maybe he's breaking through right now. The green-robed elder thought for a moment and said. At this time, Night Sorrow's cultivation had already reached the 5th level of the spirit severing stage. Next, he stabilized his cultivation while breaking through to the 8th level of the myriad Dao Tome. Let's wait. In any case, it's still 3 days. We're not in a hurry. Lei Bao said. Enduring the extreme pain, Night Sorrow strengthened the bone marrow in his neck. Sweat dripped down Night Sorrow's face. His body also trembled uncontrollably. 6 hours later, Night Sorrow took a deep breath. After enduring the unbearable pain, his neck and bone marrow were completely strengthened. The energy in his body rushed to his head and began to strengthen his skull. After stabilizing his cultivation for another 2 hours, Night Sorrow stood up and stretched his body. He felt that his strength had increased by a lot. Following this, Night Sorrow walked towards the 48th floor. The 48th floor's energy guard was of the lightning attribute. Its attacks were very violent. Night Sorrow used his profound Jade Spirit Chi to seal the Thunder attribute energy on his weapon, preventing the Thunder attribute energy from attacking him. After fighting for a while, Night Sorrow won. Looking at the energy floating in the air, Night Sorrow sat down and began to refine it. This guy finally moved. After the 40th floor, the energy will be abundant. He'll have a great harvest this time. The green-robed elder said. This time, Night Sorrow absorbed the energy very quickly. Because his cultivation had just advanced, there was a lot of space in his dantian and body to absorb energy. After absorbing the lightning energy guard's energy, Night Sorrow stood up and continued to move towards the 49th floor. Night Sorrow knew that the 50th floor was the best place to cultivate. In addition, he also knew that the Thunder Tower was the same as the Shen-Tian Tower in the Qing-Tian region. Above the 51st floor, there would be energy that could strengthen one's soul. After entering the 49th floor, Night Sorrow realized how difficult it was to break through the last floor of the Spirit Division. On this floor, there were 2 energy guards at the 9th level of the Spirit Division. The 2 energy guards began to pincer attack Night Sorrow. Can he enter the 50th floor? If he can, then it'll be heaven-defying. Our ThunderClan's record has been broken by an outsider. Lei Zheng's expression changed. This is nothing. It'll just spur you to work hard. The green-robed elder said. Night Sorrow was facing the biggest crisis since entering the Thunder Tower. The 2 guards were too strong. They were both at the 9th level of the Spirit Division. It wasn't easy to defeat one of them, but 2 of them had appeared at once. Night Sorrow used the Soaring Dragon Steps to attack one of the energy guards. From time to time, he would use his left hand to use the Profound Ice Hand to block the other guard's attack. The 2 guards were both at the 9th level of the Spirit Division. If Night Sorrow couldn't defeat them one by one, it would be a dead end. As he fought, Night Sorrow pondered. He didn't want to fail here because the benefits of challenging the Thunder Tower would only be obvious after the 50th floor. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to fight. If this continued, there would be no chance of victory. After making a decision, Night Sorrow swept his reincarnation spear and forced back the energy guard that was attacking him. The reincarnation spear shot towards the guard behind him. Then, he activated the hidden energy point under the dragon bone and used the Vajra hands to rush towards the guard in front of him. Get on Y as soon as possible. Night Sorrow was fighting with all his might. Otherwise, if he used up too much energy, he would be in an even more sorry state and have no chance of victory. Chapter 331. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Soon after, Night Sorrow pounced and followed up with a breaking killing fist, bombarding this energy guard's head. After the bombardment, Night Sorrow's feet trembled and he left his original spot, because the guard behind him attacked. The remaining guard was much stronger than the guard that Night Sorrow defeated. Although the energy contained in its body was at level 9 of the spirit severing stage, this energy guard had the technique to unleash energy. This was the first guard that Night Sorrow had encountered that possessed the technique to unleash energy. If one could comprehend the technique to unleash energy after entering the Thunder Tower, they would first have to encounter a guard that possessed the technique and comprehend it from the guard. Moreover, there was another crucial point, which was that they had to encounter the guard on the lower floors. With the advantage of cultivation, they could slowly fight. Only then would they have the opportunity to comprehend the technique. Night Sorrow's luck was very bad this time. He only encountered a guard that possessed the technique to unleash energy on the 49th floor. This was something that he could not suppress. This energy guard's technique to unleash energy was the spiral force, which would cause the opponent's attack to deviate. At the same time, it would make its own attack more penetrative. In the beginning, Night Sorrow had encountered it twice, so he chose to defeat the other guard first. Without the reincarnation spear in his hand, Night Sorrow took out a sky-piercing spear. With a sky-piercing spear in his right hand and the breaking killing fist in his left hand, he fought with his level 9 energy guard. The sound of energy explosions rang out continuously, and Night Sorrow was repelled every time. However, he gradually discovered the mystery of the spiral tendon. If it was a cultivator who used the technique to unleash energy, it would be very difficult to figure out how the technique was used. However, this humanoid energy guard was surrounded by energy, so it was very easy to figure out how the energy was used. Night Sorrow discovered that when the energy guard's spiral force was used, the vital qi in his dantian would revolve at high speed before it burst out. After entering the meridians in the arm, it would revolve around the arm bones to the palm and attack. Night Sorrow planned to end the battle as soon as possible. He activated the energy points under the dragon bones, which could not be maintained for long. With a wave of Night Sorrow's arm, the sky-piercing spear left his hand and shot it towards the energy guard using wave force. Following that, he threw out a few more spears that were infused with shock force and wave force. After throwing out a few more sky-piercing spears, Night Sorrow's body soared into the air and charged towards the energy guard, who was unable to stop retreating after blocking 6 sky-piercing spears. Then, he sent out a palm imbued with profound jade spirit chi. Bang! With a loud explosion, Night Sorrow and the guard were separated. Because of the spiral tendon, Night Sorrow didn't directly defeat the guard. If one move didn't work, he would try again. Night Sorrow rushed forward, swinging his arms and attacking with the King Kong hand. After 4 consecutive head-on collisions, the guard's spiral force couldn't keep up and his arms were shattered by Night Sorrow. Then, Night Sorrow dodged the guard's kick and punched the guard's head. After throwing out this punch, Night Sorrow's body went soft and he almost sat on the ground. Right now, he was also empty-handed. The energy and true chi in his body were only left with 10 to 20%. After taking a breather, he withdrew the reincarnation spear and the sky-piercing spear. Night Sorrow sat in meditation and began to absorb the 2 balls of pure energy. In the night, the green-robed elder, Lei Bao, and Lei Zhang looked at the 3rd jade tablet that lit up and were all stunned. Lei Bao, Lei Zhang, what kind of person did you guys bring back? He went in with 4 levels of spirit severing and killed his way to the 50th floor. Is it possible to pull him to the Thunder Rumbling sect? Pull him to the Thunder Rumbling sect at all costs. The green-robed elder said. No. He's the disciple of the master of the Medicine Valley. He has a strong sense of belonging to the Medicine Valley. He won't come to the Thunder Rumbling clan. Lei Bao opened his mouth and said. Yes, no. What a pity, what a pity. If it were any other sect, they wouldn't be able to recruit such a good seedling. But our Thunder Rumbling sect wouldn't do such a thing, the green-robed elder said. Brother Bao, this guy is too brutal. I was judged to have failed at the 45th floor, and he directly rushed to the 50th floor. How can I live like this? Lei Zhang was a little conflicted. Didn't you challenge the 45th floor when you were at the 3rd level of the spirit severing stage? You can still go higher now. The green-robed old man said with a smile. Brother, when we are not busy, let's fight together. Lei Bao patted Lei Zhang's shoulder and said. After absorbing the 2 balls of pure energy, Night Sorrow's condition also recovered. The effect of this pure energy was about the same as the spiritual spring liquid and the medicinal cauldron liquid. However, it was still not as good as the origin spiritual liquid. After stretching his waist, Night Sorrow felt that his cultivation base was improving very quickly and steadily. Then, Night Sorrow walked up the stairs. After entering the 50th floor, Night Sorrow felt that the spiritual chi here was very dense. It was as dense as the spiritual chi on Pill Cauldron Cliff. Moreover, the energy was gentle and pure. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to rest for a while to stabilize his condition first. Then, he would try to break through to the 51st floor. Night Sorrow did not really care about the energy he could use for cultivation. He had the origin spiritual liquid, but he could not miss the opportunity to improve his soul power. After meditating for a while, Night Sorrow headed to the 51st floor. This time, Night Sorrow planned to use all his means. One should know that the energy guards on the 51st floor were at the Void Inquiry stage. They could fly in the air. If he was not serious at all, he could forget about passing through. After taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow entered the 51st floor. The moment he entered the 51st floor, Night Sorrow felt a wave of majestic energy rushing towards him. Night Sorrow, who did not have the time to dodge, rolled on the ground to one side. After getting up, Night Sorrow did not dare to stay on the same spot. He continuously executed the soaring dragon steps to dodge the attack. Just as Night Sorrow dodged the attack, an energy explosion sounded from the place where he was originally standing. Not daring to stand in one place, Night Sorrow executed the soaring dragon steps to move around continuously. Behind him, explosions could also be heard. Those were the sounds of energy attacks hitting the ground. While moving around, Night Sorrow also saw his target. There was a human-shaped guard floating in the center of this space. It kept moving around and punching at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow kept flashing around, trying to find the blind spots of the human-shaped guard's attacks. However, there were no blind spots in this space. The human-shaped guard could attack Night Sorrow with just a turn. Yi Shang was infuriated by the constant attacks. With a flash, Night Sorrow dashed towards the bottom of the 5th grade human-shaped guard. While he was dashing, Night Sorrow held 2 sky-piercing spears in his hands. ++*. When he reached the bottom of the 5th grade guard, the energy in Night Sorrow's body exploded. Without using the profound jade spiritual chi, he directly released his void true chi and threw out the sky-piercing spears. After throwing out the 2 sky-piercing spears, Night Sorrow did not stop there. He directly threw out the remaining 10 sky-piercing spears. After doing all that, Night Sorrow took out the reincarnation spear and activated the energy point below the dragon bone. He executed the wind-chasing spear technique and dashed towards the 5th grade guard who was forced into a corner by the sky-piercing spears. Chapter 332. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow infused his incorporeal true chi into the reincarnation spear, which carried vibrating energy, caused great damage to the level 5 energy guard. Love, go little say, chew. After a few spears, Night Sorrow shattered the arms of the level 5 energy guard. The incorporeal true chi had the ability to weaken true chi of other attributes. This was the tyranny of the supreme attribute. At this moment, the level 5 energy guard, who had lost its arms, once again floated in the air. Die for me! With a low roar, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear flew out like a hurricane. With a sharp whistle, the reincarnation spear broke through the level 5 energy guard's protective chi cover and directly pierced through its chest. Following the fluctuation of energy, the level 5 energy guard's body dissipated and turned into a ball of pure energy. At the same time, the stairs leading to the 52nd floor appeared. Night Sorrow did not care about the stairs. He stretched out his hand and held the ball of energy in his hand, beginning to meditate and cultivate. He passed the 51st floor. What is he doing? He is deliberately trying to attack us brothers. Lei Zhang was somewhat speechless. Good. This is tyrannical enough. Lei Bao's face was flushed red. He was very excited. This guy is indescribable. He is destined to leave a deep mark on the Thunder Tower's record. Love, go little say, chew. The green-robed elder opened his mouth and said. Night Sorrow absorbed this ball of pure energy and cultivated. While absorbing the energy, Night Sorrow discovered a problem. This ball of energy had a milky white silk-like energy. True Chi and the myriad Tao treasured tome's energy could not be refined. However, this milky white energy was brought to his neck by the myriad Tao treasured tome and directly rushed into his head, reaching the space between his eyebrows. Night Sorrow's head began to hurt fiercely, as if it was being pricked by needles. Following that, a kind of refreshing feeling came. It was as if the whole world had changed and everything was clear. This feeling spread to Night Sorrow's heart. The milky white strands of energy were the energy that could change and strengthen the soul. Yi Shang was certain of this. Night Sorrow continued to refine the energy and increase his genuine chi and cultivation of the myriad Tao tome. He also circulated the white energy to his neck and guided it into his brain. This ball of energy was very pure and there was a lot of it. It took Yi Shan 4 hours to completely refine it. Night Sorrow felt that other than the increase in his true chi and the cultivation of the myriad Tao tome, there were other changes. He had a deeper understanding of the world. He knew that this was a change in his soul. The staircase had disappeared, leaving only the staircase leading to the 52nd floor. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow took out the jade card from his bosom and poured his true energy into it. Then, Night Sorrow felt his mind enter a trance. Baidu search, AI Go female sign Xiao, say, www.aichuxs. When the feeling disappeared, Night Sorrow found himself in a different space. There was a door in front of him. Night Sorrow pushed the door open and walked out. Brother Yi, little brother Yi, you came out. Intermediate level 5 spirit severing stage. There's nothing else to say. Lei Bao patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and said. Night Sorrow turned his head and looked around. He did not see Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, so he asked, the two of them didn't come out? They are not as stupid as you. They are still cultivating on the 50th floor. When it's about time, they will go up. This is the most reasonable rule. Lei Zheng said. Haha, that's true. Then the two of you are also stupid. Didn't you come out so early? Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and poured it into a few bowls. Then, he handed a bowl to the green-robed old man. We are not as stupid as you. We did not go in. When we are not busy, we will slowly enjoy it. Lei Zheng said. We cannot waste the opportunity here, so we must cherish it. Lei Bao nodded. Brat, did you meet any guards who used energy techniques? The green-robed old man asked after drinking a mouthful of wine. I met them on the 49th floor. At that time, 2 guards appeared and almost killed me. Night Sorrow said after drinking a mouthful of wine. What energy technique? How much have you mastered? The green-robed old man looked at Night Sorrow with a surprised expression. It's the spiral force. I need to go back and consolidate it. I am not familiar with it. Night Sorrow recalled the technique of the spiral force and said. Not familiar with it? Your answer is that you are not familiar with it. Try it. The green-robed old man took 2 deep breaths and calmed his emotions. Night Sorrow held the reincarnation spear and used the spiral force that he had just learned. Just as the old man said, he had only mastered the embryonic form. He needed to go back and slowly cultivate it. The green-robed old man sighed. He knew that Night Sorrow had gained a lot this time. Within the Thunder Tower, there would not be any guards who could use the spiral force within the next 3 years. This was a rule and also a rule. After drinking a jar of wine, Night Sorrow took out another jar of wine and called the green-robed old man to drink with him. Seeing Night Sorrow, Lei Bao, and Lei Zheng drinking merrily, the green-robed old man was relieved. He knew that Night Sorrow would not be a threat to the Thunder Tower. On the 3rd day, Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu moved. They left the 50th floor and continued to challenge the tower. Night Sorrow watched them worriedly. He hoped that the 2 girls would be able to challenge higher floors. He knew that there were 2 obvious benefits to challenging the Thunder Tower. One was the technique of using energy, and the other was the energy that could change the soul. Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu began to challenge the 50th floor. Above the 50th floor, there would be energy that could strengthen the soul. Night Sorrow hoped that they would also be able to obtain this benefit. Xikong Chuyu failed after entering the 54th floor and left the Thunder Tower. Yang Lei spent a little longer but she also failed to enter the 55th floor. Just like Xikong Chuyu, she failed on the 54th floor. Why are the 2 of you the same? Why did you both fail on the 54th floor? Night Sorrow asked. The 54th floor and the 53rd floor are completely different. The guards there are too strong. Yang Lei said. Xikong Chuyu also nodded in agreement. After the 50th floor, the first 3 floors are for early void inquiry stage experts. The middle 3 floors are for mid-void inquiry stage experts. The last 3 floors correspond to late void inquiry stage experts. There are differences in difficulty. The green-robed old man said. I see. Yang Lei nodded, understanding the reason behind it. What did you guys gain? The green-robed old man asked. I comprehended the ripple force. It's more suitable for my water attribute cultivation method. Xikong Chuyu said. The opponent I met on the 54th floor used the explosive force. Even though I didn't defeat him, I should be able to master it after going back and sorting it out, Yang Lei said. 2's Most No New ES Chapter and Verse 2. Part 1. 2-inch All 3 of you have obtained the technique of force exertion. This is an opportunity. Lei Bao, you have to entertain the guests well. Here are the remaining 3 pieces of high-grade spirit stones. The green-robed old man handed 3 pieces of high-grade spirit stones to Night Sorrow. The spirit stones were calculated according to the number of floors they successfully passed. The mid-grade spirit stones that Night Sorrow handed in had just been used up. Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu each entered the first 3 floors after the 50th floor. Night Sorrow spent 7 pieces of high-grade spirit stones on his first floor. Lei Bao nodded and left with Lei Zheng, bringing Night Sorrow and the other 2. There's no need to send us off. We'll go back to the inn ourselves. Night Sorrow said after they were some distance away. You guys must be tired today. Have an early rest. We'll bring you guys around tomorrow, Lei Bao said. All right. You 2 don't have to be so polite. Just bring us to the teleportation formation whenever it's convenient for you. Night Sorrow said. All right then. We'll go back first. Lei Bao and Lei Zheng cupped their fists at Night Sorrow and the other 2 and left. Night Sorrow stopped walking. After waiting for a while, he returned to the Thunder Tower. Why did you come back? The green-robed old man asked. Chapter 333. Genius 1 Second Remember Love Go Divided by Xiao? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow then took out 60 mid-grade spiritual stones and gave them to the old man in green robes. 30 for each of them. Baidu search, Love Go female sign Xiao, Shua, www.aichux.com. Okay, I'll accept it on their behalf. They really need it. You are friends. It's not good for the gap between you two to be too big. It's their fortune to have a friend like you, said the old man in green robes. I'm sorry for causing so much trouble for the thunder rumbling sect. Night Sorrow bowed to the old man in green robes. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also cupped their fists at the old man. They were very grateful for the benefits they received from the thunder rumbling tower. After leaving, the three of them took a look at the thunder rumbling city under the night sky before returning to the inn. Danding City needs to develop. The Medicine Valley and the thunder rumbling sect are too different. Yang Lei sighed after returning to the inn. This will take time. The thunder tower of the thunder sect is a symbol. Danding City needs such a symbol, Sikong Chuyu said. 13. When you have the ability, get a spiritual weapon and put it in Danding City. I don't believe that Danding City can't develop. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said, Spirit weapons need to be suitable to be displayed in Danding City. Don't tell me you're going to hang these clothes in front of the city lord's mansion? Yi Shang said as he pulled his robe, revealing the soft ice silk clothing underneath. You want to hang this lousy shirt in front of the city lord's mansion? Am I going to use it as a towel? Yang Lei said as she looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. Ninth senior sister. You've embarrassed yourself this time. This is a mid-grade spirit artifact, and a defensive one at that. Yi Shang smiled as he took off his outer robe, revealing a milky white ice silkworm robe. Mid-grade spiritual weapon? Who are you trying to fool? However, the texture and style are not bad, Yang Lei said with a smile. Night Sorrow had no choice but to take out the sky-piercing spear. Before Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu could stop him, he stabbed the spear into his chest. Love, go little, say, could the moment the sky-piercing spear struck the ice silk soft clothes, a collision of energy occurred. Ripples of energy appeared on the ice silk soft clothes, and the sky-piercing spear bounced off without even leaving a scratch. Is this really a spiritual weapon? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Sikong Chuyu was also very surprised. Of course it is. It's a mid-grade spirit-grade ice silk robe. Moreover, it has already recognized its master. As long as I activate it with my spirit energy, it can block attacks that exceed my cultivation by 1 level, said Night Sorrow as he put on the robe. You've hidden it too well. Yang Lei was deeply shocked by Night Sorrow. A spiritual weapon. One had to know that there was only one spiritual weapon in the entire Medicine Valley. It could even be said that some supremacies didn't even have a spiritual weapon. However, Night Sorrow already had a mid-grade spirit-grade vest on him. Do you remember when I went to the East Snow Mountain in the Far East Icefield? I lent out the Water Fate Stone for a while, and that person gave me a spiritual weapon. She didn't have a spiritual weapon, so she had no choice but to give me this defensive spiritual weapon, which is even rarer than offensive spiritual weapons. She even helped me force it to recognize me as its master, said Night Sorrow. I can't say how lucky you are. Ninth senior sister is using a mid-grade spirit-grade treasure robe as a towel to wipe her feet. This is also unique in the 9 realms and 18 states, said Sikong Chuyu with a smile. You're making fun of me too. Yang Lei was embarrassed and angry. She got up and pressed Sikong Chuyu on the bed. Then, she rubbed Sikong Chuyu's chest a few times. Night Sorrow smiled and helped the two of them up. New E, Chapter S # Section 8 above plus. F 9th senior sister. How could you do this? Sikong Chuyu said with a red face. Yes, touching you is embarrassing enough, yet you're still making fun of me. Yang Lei said with a smile. Nothing much. We'll leave tomorrow and take a walk around Dongxian City, Night Sorrow said. Okay, I'll listen to you. Yang Lei nodded. By the way, have you obtained the energy to improve your soul? Night Sorrow asked. I got it. I haven't asked you about it yet. Sikong Chuyu reached out and tidied up Night Sorrow's robe. I've obtained the spiral energy technique and the energy to improve my soul. However, this energy has entered my brain, So I can't find out what's going on, Night Sorrow said. Didn't you say that you can only get this benefit after entering the 50th floor? Sikong Chuyu asked Night Sorrow. Yes. I entered the 51st floor. I didn't dare to enter the 52nd floor, Night Sorrow said. You entered the 51st floor and won? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. I was lucky. After all, the energy guard is still lacking in intelligence, Night Sorrow said. You're the biggest winner. Not only did you advance in your cultivation, but you also obtained the spiral energy and the energy to change your soul. You're really strong, Yang Lei said. Actually, Night Sorrow's biggest gain in this trip to Thunder Rolling City isn't these. It's taking 9th senior sister as my disciple. That's my biggest gain. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded and held Yang Lei's and Sikong Chuyu's hands. I'm sorry. I haven't asked you what level your cultivation bases are at. I still have 5th grade pills here. I don't know if the pills are more suitable for you or the spiritual origin liquid. 9th senior sister and I are both 2nd grade void inquiry stage experts. After entering the 5th grade, it's indeed difficult for us to improve our cultivation bases. However, the spiritual origin liquid is indeed useful. Sikong Chuyu said. That's good. If you need the void level pill, you can come to me. Night Sorrow said. We have the void level pill as a reward for doing unrestricted missions. You, on the other hand, should hurry up and enter the void inquiry stage. That way, even if the 3 of us can't enter the venerable realm, we can still be together for 500 years. Sikong Chuyu held Night Sorrow's hands and said. That's right. The 2 of us don't look old. If you don't hurry up and enter the void inquiry stage, what if someone tries to steal your woman when you grow old? Yang Lei also said with a smile. I will work hard. Night Sorrow could feel the deep affection between Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei. While Night Sorrow and the 2 women were whispering sweet nothings to each other, Lei Joyun and the others of the Thunder Rolling sect received the news that Night Sorrow and the other 2 were going to challenge the Thunder Rolling Tower. At Lei Joyun's cultivation place, there were a few old men. In addition, Lei Bao's mother was also invited over. Usually, the sect would not trouble her with the matters of the sect. However, this matter was related to Lei Bao after all. I don't want to care about how the sect views this matter. I also don't want to ask about it. I just want to say one thing. Don't hurt those children. Lei Bao's mother said. Elder Chen, don't worry. The reason I called everyone here is to discuss how to deal with this matter better. Elder Chen, you cultivate formations. You have a strong sense of qi and luck. What do you think about Night Sorrow's situation? Lei Joyun asked. Lei Bao's mother's surname was Chen. Her name was Chen Lan. Chapter 334. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. We have to take this seriously. Love go little, say. www.ai2x.com. Lei Joyun said. Let me tell you about it first. The 2 girls are both at the 5th level of the Divine Severing Realm at such a young age. They managed to reach the 54th floor of the Thunder Roll Tower with their 2nd Void Inquiry stage cultivation base, and achieved the feat of fighting someone with a higher level than them. This shows that they aren't just flower vases. The most important thing is that they follow Night Sorrow as their leader. Night Sorrow managed to reach the 51st floor with his 5th level Divine Severing Realm cultivation base. This isn't a simple feat of fighting someone with a higher level than him. You all know what it means. The old man in green robes who was guarding the Thunder Roll Tower said, Guardian Elder, how do you think we should deal with this? Lei Joyun asked. Night Sorrow values his friendship with Lei Bao and Lei Zhang very much. After he left with Lei Bao and Lei Zhang today, he went back and gave them 60 mid-grade spirit stones so that they could use them to challenge the tower in the future. He did this because he didn't want Lei Bao and Lei Zhang to know about it. It's enough for them to be friends. Therefore, I think it's better to let nature take its course. The old man in green robes said. Let nature take its course. Then we'll deal with it this way. My original idea was to give them some benefits and conditions, so that we can maintain our relationship with the Thunder Roll sect. Now that I think about it, we'll be at a disadvantage if we do that. Lei Joyun said. Yes. Although the development of our Thunder Roll sect is important, We can't hurt the friendship between the younger generation. With this friendship, no matter how much importance he receives from the Tianji Tower and no matter how much he rises, he won't hurt our Thunder Roll sect. The old man in green robes who was also the Guardian Elder said. In the Thunder Roll sect, the Guardian Elder had a special status. Only people who could communicate with the treasure spirit of the Thunder Roll Tower would be sent to guard the tower. Only such people could become the Guardian Elder. Then let's leave it at that. We didn't send anyone to the Medicine Valley celebration ceremony. I'll pay them a visit later. Lei Jiuyun made his decision. Knight Sorrow did not spend time with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Instead, he meditated and stabilized his cultivation. His true Qi and myriad Dao's tome had just leveled up, so he needed to stabilize his cultivation. In addition, there was still a lot of room for improvement. After resting for a night, Lei Bao and Lei Zhang arrived at the inn while the three of them were eating breakfast. "Waiter, get me a bowl and chopsticks," Lei Bao shouted to the waiter after sitting down. "You're early," Knight Sorrow greeted. "Nothing much, so I came out. Where do you want to go today?" Lei Bao asked while eating. "You two don't have to be so polite. We don't need to accompany you," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. "That won't do. You're the ones who came to the Thunder Roll sect. If I don't receive you well, you'll throw me into a pit when I go to the Medicine Valley. I won't even be able to find my way home," Lei Bao said. "Knight Sorrow, you don't know. When we returned to the sect yesterday, we went to look for information about the Medicine Valley. Brother Bao heard that the crepe myrtle was a woman, so he became interested," Lei Zheng said. "I didn't know that you had such thoughts, Lei Bao." Knight Sorrow looked at Knight Sorrow and said with a smile. First. It's okay to take a look. The disciples of the Medicine Valley's crepe myrtle won't lose anything. Also, I want to go to the sacred place of the Medicine Valley, Danding Cliff, to take a look," Lei Bao admitted directly. "Okay, when are you going?" "I'll take care of you," Knight Sorrow said as he put down his bowl and chopsticks. "Nothing, we'll go later. I heard that the Medicine Valley and the Golden Flame sect are in a fight. We'll deal with them together. Also, our sect's elders plan to visit the Medicine Valley," Lei Bao said as he drank a bowl of porridge. "Okay, but I have to go to Dongxian City, so I can't go with you," Knight Sorrow said. "Knight Sorrow, I heard that there are many beauties in Dongxian City. You can go and take a look." Lei Zhang glanced at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and said, "You have bad intentions. How do you know that there are many beauties in Dongxian City?" Yang Lei looked at Lei Zhang and asked, "I've been to Dongxian City before. Some families and forces want to climb up the social ladder and form alliances through marriage. They send their women to Dongxian City. If they're fancied by a powerful family or force, they'll hit it off. You know what I mean," Lei Jing said. "Then why didn't you get one?" Yang Lei asked with a smile. "Those women who only care about benefits are not worthy of my love," Lei Jing said. After eating, Yi Shang told Lei Bao and Lei Zhang that he was going to leave. Lei Bao and Lei Zhang didn't refuse and accompanied Knight Sorrow to an ancient palace not far from the Thunder Roll Tower. The ancient palace was where the Thunder Roll sect's teleportation array was located. It was also the safest and most convenient place. There were two black-robed elders guarding the teleportation array. Lei Bao took out Lei Jiuyun's token and told them what Knight Sorrow and the others wanted to do. "I know about them, so there's no need to take the crystals. Just give them to them. Knight Sorrow, right? Bring your companions to Thunder Roll City more often in the future." An elder walked in from outside the ancient palace. He was one of the elders who had discussed the issue with Thunder Roll sect last night. "Thank you, Senior," Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow and the others then stood on the teleportation array. The person guarding the teleportation array took out 6 mid-grade spirit stones and placed them on the 6 legs of the teleportation array. When the last spirit stone was placed, Knight Sorrow felt a surge of energy. Then, the space started to change, followed by a strong sense of dizziness. Fortunately, it didn't take long for the space to stabilize. Yi Shan discovered that they were standing in another large hall. There were also people guarding the palace. They were guards in black armor. The guards in black armor looked at Knight Sorrow and the others and said, "You can go out now." After leaving the main hall, Yi Shang finally saw what a real city was like. The road was dozens of feet wide, and ferocious beast carriages were moving back and forth. The people coming and going were all cultivators. On both sides of the road were ancient and majestic buildings. There were beast cries in the air. It was the sound of flying demonic beasts. This is Dongxian City. The #1 city in Eastern Xian Domain is indeed different, Night Sorrow said with some emotion. What should we do? Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and asked. Let's find a place to stay first. Then, we'll go to Tianji Tower to do your thing, Yang Lei said. Then the three of them found an inn. The inn didn't accept silver or gold notes, but crystal stones. Each person would have to pay 3 low-grade spirit stones a day. This price is really expensive, Night Sorrow said. Dongxian City is a city of cultivators. The business owners here are all cultivators. They even belong to various families and sections. Gold and silver are useless to them, Sikong Chuyu said. But the comfort level of this inn is really good, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the high-end furnishings in the inn. Let's rest for a while. We'll go out and buy a map. Tomorrow, we'll go to Tianji Tower, Yang Lei said as she sat on the bed. Chapter 335. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. The night in Dongxian City was as bright as day. Both sides of the road were brightly lit. Love, go little, say, W, chew. There were also hawkers setting up stalls in certain areas. Night Sorrow bought a map of Dongxian City from a hawker. Then, he went into a clothing store and bought a few dresses for Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow wanted to go to a jewelry store, but Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu said they didn't like those things, so he gave up. The three of them walked around a small area of Dongxian City before returning to the inn. Night Sorrow booked 3 rooms in the inn, but Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were chatting in Night Sorrow's room. Dongxian City is really prosperous. Is our Medicine Valley's shop here? Night Sorrow pointed at the map and asked Yang Lei. It should be. After all, I've been here once many years ago. I know the general area, but we'll have to find the exact location, Yang Lei said. We're not far from Tianji Tower. We can go there tomorrow, Sikong Chuyu said as he looked at the map. Okay, let's go and take a look tomorrow, Night Sorrow said. I'm going to rest. I won't disturb you guys. Yang Lei stretched and looked at Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu before getting up and leaving the room. Love, go little, say W Chu B only and 1/positive R edition, which intersection Z Hien unspecified currency is a pirated edition E. If only I could get a spatial crystal and find a formation master to set up a teleportation array in Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow said as he closed the map. There are often auctions in Qingtian City in Qingtian region. They even auctioned spatial crystals in the past. They were very expensive, but with your wealth, it shouldn't be a problem, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. I have the wealth. Where would I have the wealth? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Spirit stones. In the world of cultivators, spirit stones are hard currency. Some rare treasures are auctioned in spirit stones, Sikong Chuyu said. That's good. I have some spirit stones. Night Sorrow had a small mountain of spirit stones in his storage ring. It was an amount that ordinary forces couldn't gather even if they sold everything they had. You have some spirit stones? You're very rich. Sikong Chuyu smiled. She knew that Yishang had a lot of spirit stones. She also knew that spirit stones were not Yishang's main wealth. The source spiritual liquid was the most valuable treasure. In addition, Yishang's destiny stone was priceless. It couldn't be measured by crystal stones or other materials. Chuyu, shall we rest? Yishang asked Sikong Chuyu. Okay. Sikong Chuyu nodded. She couldn't help but blush. Although she had already done it with Night Sorrow, she still felt embarrassed. Night Sorrow carried Sikong Chuyu and placed her on the bed. He gently undid Sikong Chuyu's skirt. Don't look. After Night Sorrow undid her skirt, Sikong Chuyu couldn't control her shyness and covered herself with the blanket. Night Sorrow smiled and went to bed as well. After half the night, the two took a bath and went to sleep. It had to be said that this inn was expensive to stay in. However, the conditions were good. There was a private bathroom and a firestone to keep the bathwater warm. After a night's rest, Night Sorrow and the other two rode their flying demonic beasts to Tianji Tower. Dongxian City was good about flying demonic beasts. The headquarters of Tianji Tower was very grand. It was several times bigger than Danding City's branch. Cultivators were walking in and out of the entrance. After keeping their flying demonic beasts, Night Sorrow and the other two entered Tianji Tower. After entering Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow realized that the layout here was different from Danding City's branch. There were rows of counters, staff, and some guards. Love, go, shout, say, W. Chu. Seeing that no one was there to greet them, Night Sorrow went to the first counter. What mission do you want to take? Give me your identity tag, the woman in black behind the counter asked. I want to see the person in charge here. Yishan stated his purpose for coming. I'm sorry. If you don't explain the situation, I can't report it, the woman said as she sized up Night Sorrow. What should I do? Night Sorrow turned to look at Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei. Show her your patrol token. Otherwise, you won't be able to see her today, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow nodded and turned to look at the receptionist. He took out his patrol token and said, Can you take me to see the person in charge now? I don't know. I can only inform the law enforcer, the woman in black said as she stood up and walked to the back. The Celestial Terminus Tower's office was separated from the cultivators outside. Yi Shang did not know why she had gone inside to report the situation. Night Sorrow and the other two waited for a while before the woman returned. She was followed by a man in a white robe. I'm the law enforcer here, Zhou Zhong. May I know who you are? Zhou Zhong asked Night Sorrow. I'm Night Sorrow, Night Sorrow said. Zhou Zhong came out from the side door and led Night Sorrow to a private room on the second floor. If there's anything, just tell me, Zhou Zhong said. I want to see the law enforcer, Night Sorrow said. He really felt that this place was troublesome. How many law enforcers are there in Tianji Tower? If you don't tell me their names, how will I know who you want to see? Not everyone can see the law enforcer as they wish, Zhou Zhong said with a frown. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Can you make the decision? If you can't, then go and report it. You're just a law enforcer. Can you make things difficult for the patrol? Sikong Chuyu was angry because this law enforcer was too arrogant. Who are you? There are law enforcers and chief law enforcers here. It's not up to anyone to patrol, Zhou Zhong snorted. It seems that it's useless to look for you. I'll go look for it myself. Night Sorrow was helpless. He walked out of the room and went upstairs by himself. Zhou Zhong's body flashed and blocked Night Sorrow's path. This is Tianji Tower. It's not a place where you can barge in and act presumptuously. Are you crazy? I told you to report it, but you didn't. Now I'm looking for it, and you're blocking my way? What are you trying to do? Seeing Zhou Zhong's arrogant face, Night Sorrow's anger rose. Remember, this is Tianji Tower's Eastern Xian region headquarters. You'd better behave yourself. Who do you think you are? Zhou Zhong looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. I don't care. Let's beat up this watchdog first. 13. Take care of him. Yang Lei was angry. Night Sorrow didn't care so much. He could see that if he didn't deal with Zhou Zhong, he wouldn't be able to do anything today. Night Sorrow took a step forward. He stretched out his right hand and threw a killing fist at Zhou Zhong. How dare you? Men, take him down. Seeing Night Sorrow make a move, Zhou Zhong shouted and called for the Tianji Tower guards to capture Night Sorrow and the other two. The battle then became intense. The Tianji Tower guards were no match for Night Sorrow and the other two. They were all beaten down one by one. Stop! When Night Sorrow was chasing after Zhou Zhong, an old man appeared and shouted. At the same time, he blocked Night Sorrow's path. The old man wore a bronze mask and looked at Night Sorrow and the other two with a pair of shining eyes. Have you thought about the consequences of making a move in Tianji Tower? They are wrong. Naturally, someone will deal with them. However, you have despised the dignity of Tianji Tower. You must pay the price, the old man said. Chapter 336. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Then I'll deal with him first, then deal with you guys. Zhou Zhong, what's the situation? The old man turned to look at Zhou Zhong. Love, go little, say W. While the old man was speaking, Yin Shui, who was wearing a silver mask, appeared on the stairs and walked to Night Sorrow's side. Sir. Seeing Yin Shui, The old man with the bronze mask and Zhou Zhong bowed. Manager Tan, you deal with it first. I'll keep watch. When did you guys arrive? Yin Shui looked at Night Sorrow and asked. We just arrived. Night Sorrow calmed himself down and nodded. Zhou Zhong, what's going on? Manager Tan, who was wearing a bronze mask, asked. They wanted to force their way in and wanted to see our higher-ups, Zhou Zhong said. You forced your way in. Are you not taking our Tianji Tower seriously? Manager Tan glanced at Yin Shui, then looked at Night Sorrow and the other two. I don't understand. You just asked a random question and questioned us. Why didn't you ask for the reason? Night Sorrow suppressed his anger again. Manager Tan trembled. He knew that Night Sorrow's words were reasonable. He was under a lot of pressure when he saw Yin Shui, so he lost his composure. Night Sorrow, I'll let you explain. Yin Shui sighed. She was disappointed in Manager Tan. I went to the counter and asked to see the manager here. The receptionist said I wasn't qualified. Okay then. I took out the token and she said I could only inform the enforcers. Then he came. Night Sorrow explained the situation in detail. Who's in charge of patrolling? Is there such a thing? Yin Shui's voice was cold as she looked at Zhou Zhong. Zhou Zhong took a step back and didn't answer. He couldn't answer because what Night Sorrow said was the truth. How dare a lowly enforcer look down on patrolling? I don't care who arranged for you or who's protecting you. Dang. Yin Shui waved her right hand and an energy sword aura flew out, killing Zhou Zhong. My lord, it's this subordinate's fault for not being strict enough. Manager Tan bowed and said. This is something that happened right under our noses. As a steward, you can't escape the blame. Arrange everything here and go to the law enforcement hall to receive your punishment. Yin Shui glanced at Steward Tan and said. Yes. Manager Tan bowed and said. Let's go. I've heard that you're coming. Yin Shui led the way. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs. So I'm seeing that Night Sorrow and the others had left. Manager Tan wiped the sweat off his chin and went to deal with the aftermath. Yin Shui brought Night Sorrow and the other two to the top floor of Tianji Tower. Is it convenient for us to follow? Sikong Chuyu asked. It's fine. There's nothing important today. Just a chat, Yin Shui said. After entering the room, Night Sorrow saw Ho Yuan and Lei Hua. You're here to look for someone, yet you can make such a big fuss. Ho Yuan said with a smile. I didn't want to. Not only did they not inform me, but they also made things difficult for me. Is my token useless? Night Sorrow said. Don't say that. In the future, when you come to Tianji Tower, if you see any staff or law enforcers who don't follow the rules, teach them a lesson. Yin Shui said. Aren't you going to introduce these two? Ho Yuan looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and asked. This is my 9th senior sister, Yang Lei. This is Sikong Chuyu. They are both my fiancés. Night Sorrow said. You're really lucky. Have a seat. Lei Hua greeted. This is also our Tianji Tower's inspector, right? Ho Yuan looked at Sikong Chuyu and asked. Yes. Sikong Chuyu stood up and cupped his hands towards Lei Hua, Ho Yuan, and Yin Shui. You're welcome. This is your fiancée. She's not an outsider. Everyone, make yourselves at home. By the way, let me take a look at your token. Ho Yuan said. Night Sorrow took out his jade pendant and handed it to Ho Yuan. XM Forever S Free J Read Novels. Ho Yuan took the jade pendant and looked at it. After a while, he handed it to Lei Hua. The front of this jade pendant is the surname. On the back is an ancient totem. This doesn't exist in Eastern Xian domain. I'm very sure. Ho Yuan said. Lei Hua also looked at the jade pendant seriously and then handed it to Yin Shui. In the end, the three of them said that they had never seen this totem before. Night Sorrow, you don't have to worry. The three of us have only traveled a limited area outside of Eastern Xian domain. However, the Branch Lord is different. The Branch Lord has traveled through 9 regions and 18 prefectures. He's much more knowledgeable than us. Lei Hua said. Then can I see the Branch Lord? Night Sorrow asked. This matter was too important to him. The Branch Lord hasn't been here for a long time. However, I can see him. Lei Hua shook his head. Then I'll leave the jade pendant. Night Sorrow said. No need. Lei Hua took out a piece of jade and waved his finger on it. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, a jade pendant that was exactly the same as the one in Night Sorrow's hand appeared in Lei Hua's hand. Even a master sculptor doesn't have this skill. Night Sorrow said with some surprise. In the past, I studied sculpting in order to calm my mind. As for the skill, it's passable. Lei Hua handed the original jade pendant to Night Sorrow and put away the replica. Thank you, Senior. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Lei Hua. You're welcome. This time, you'll stay in Eastern Xian City for a while. When you want to go back, come back and we'll send you off. Lei Hua said. I've already troubled you, seniors. I can't take up too much of your time, said Yishang. How are you going to go back by yourself? Are you going to ride a flying demonic beast for a few months? We'll take you to the teleportation array. Whether it's the Golden Flame sect or the Southern Dipper sect, it won't be a problem. This is your mask. Wear it when you need it. Lei Hua took out a mask that Night Sorrow had never seen before. It was different from the silver masks of Lei Hua, Yin Shui, and Hou Yuan. It wasn't bronze either. It was silver with flames. All right. Then, Night Sorrow is here. Thank you, seniors. Night Sorrow bowed and said. There's no need to be polite. There's one more thing that I need to tell you. These two are your fiancés. There's nothing to hide. We'll keep it a secret. When you go back, you'll also tell them that you've passed the 4-star examination. In other words, if you're in the Eastern Xian region in the future, you'll be our successor. If you reach the Void Inquiry stage within 7 years, you'll have the possibility to take up any position in the Tianji Tower in the future. Lei Hua said. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to Lei Hua and the other two. However, you still have to keep your identity a secret. After all, this is the rule. In addition, the Palace Lord has given you a set of spear techniques. Take it. Lei Hua took out an ancient book and handed it to Night Sorrow. Then when I see the Palace Lord, please express my gratitude on behalf of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow said after keeping the ancient book. Chapter 337. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow took out a few jars of wine and pushed them to Lei Hua, Yin Shui, and Hou Yuan. Haha. It's not that Eastern Xian region doesn't have good wine, but your wine is this lord's favorite, Hou Yuan said as he opened the jar. Night Sorrow, your cultivation is rising too fast. If you continue like this, you will soon reach the 5th rank. Also, you don't have to worry about her. If people from Qingtian region come to our Eastern Xian region again, we won't be polite. Yin Shui glanced at Xikong Chuyu and said. Yi Shang raised the wine jug in front of Lei Hua and the others and drank half the jug. After staying in Tianji Tower for a while, Night Sorrow and the others left. Night Sorrow's forehead was sweating. Lei Hua and the others had a high tolerance for alcohol. Although Night Sorrow didn't collapse, he was close to the point of drinking. After finding a tea house, Night Sorrow and the others asked for a private room and began to drink tea. Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu wanted to sober Night Sorrow up. Night Sorrow, do you know what that mask means? Xikong Chuyu poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow and asked. 4R6 forever exempt %. Fee % look. Little S5 said. How would I know? Night Sorrow shook his head and said. That's the celestial mask. It's a special mask for the core seeds of Tianji Tower. That is to say, when you wear this mask, no one will dare to touch you. Of course, the Tianji Tower won't care if it's an opponent above your level. Love, Gobe small, say, net. Chusikong Chuyu said. If we come to Eastern Xian City in the future, we will need a place to stay. How about we buy a house? Yang Lei said. We don't have anyone around us. It won't be easy to take care of the house after we buy it. Night Sorrow shook his head. That's not a problem. Let's go to the Medicine Valley's outpost in Dongxian City first and ask them to arrange a reliable butler for us. Then, we can buy some servants and solve the problem, Yang Lei said. Then let's go and see if there are any suitable houses. But I think we should go to the Medicine Valley stronghold first to check out the situation, Night Sorrow said. All right, then let's go to the station to take a look. If there's a suitable candidate for the steward, then prepare to bleed. The houses here are very expensive. Let's ask around and see what the price is, Yanglei said. Riding on the flying demon beast, the three of them arrived at the Medicine Valley's base in Dongxian City. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs. So although Medicine Valley's stronghold couldn't be compared with the strongholds of other forces, it was much better than ordinary shops. It was a 4-story shop near the main street. After entering the shop, Yang Lei greeted an old man. Old Nine is here. How rare, the old man said with a smile. Elder Chu, this is my junior brother and his fiancée, Yang Lei said. So young and I don't know you. You must be 13, Elder Chu said with a smile as he sized up Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu. How did Elder Chu know? Yang Lei asked in surprise. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com. I returned to the sect a while ago to deliver resources and some elixirs. So I know everything about the sect, Elder Chu said. 13. This is our Medicine Valley's alchemy master, Elder Chu. He's also the person in charge here. Yang Lei introduced them to each other. It must be very tiring for you to travel so far. I'll make some arrangements for you to stay here first. Elder Chu was very polite and didn't put on airs in front of Yang Lei and Night Sorrow. There's no need. We'll stay in the inn. 13 wants to buy a house here. Elder Chu, please arrange a trustworthy person to be our housekeeper and we'll buy some servants. Yang Lei got to the main point. That's not a problem. We have a lot of trustworthy people here. Some of them are not in good health and can help you manage the servants. However, it's not easy to buy a house in Dongxian City. It's impossible to buy one without at least 100 mid-grade spirit stones. If you want a good location and a big area, you'll have to buy it with high-grade spirit stones, and the quantity won't be low, Elder Chu said. Then we'll go take a look first, Yang Lei said. After nodding at Elder Chu, Night Sorrow and the other two left. Night Sorrow, you don't have to worry. The 3 executives of Tianji Tower don't travel outside, so they don't know much about the outside world. However, Lord K will definitely know. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and said. She knew that not getting the jade pendant out of Night Sorrow was a blow to him. I know. As long as we don't give up, there will be a chance, Night Sorrow nodded. The 3 of them looked for a house in Dongxian City, but they didn't see many houses for sale. It was either the location was bad or the price was high. It's not easy to find one. Dongxian City is too big. We can't just walk around like this. Tomorrow, we might as well write a sign and put it in front of Tianji Tower. Those adventurers are the most well-informed. We can find information through them, Sikong Chuyu said. Then let's do it, Night Sorrow said. The 3 of them strolled around the streets, bought a bunch of delicious food, and returned to the inn. After resting for a while, Night Sorrow began to cultivate. Although it was a relatively easy time, Night Sorrow still wanted to break through to the consolidation realm with the myriad Tao Tome as soon as possible. Then, he would enter a new stage. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, on a mountain north of Dongxian City, Wu Lingfei, who was wearing a golden mask, stood with her hands behind her back. Lei Hua stood not far behind her. Keep a close eye on him. His safety is very important. We don't care about battles between people of the same level, but if a high-level cultivator attacks him, kill him immediately, Wu Lingfei said. I understand. Lei Hua bowed. What are his plans recently? Wu Lingfei asked. Yin Shui, and the other suggested that he buy a house in Dongxian City. He has this plan, so he shouldn't leave in the near future, Lei Hua said. Use your other identity and use the power of the City Lord Mansion to support him. This has nothing to do with Tianji Tower, Wu Lingfei said again. Lady, when do you plan to go back? Lei Hua asked. Not for now. I've had some enlightenment recently. Also, if the Golden Flame sect is still eyeing Medicine Valley covetously, then kill their venerable. Wu Lingfei's silk dress fluttered. Lady, won't that cause trouble? Lei Hua was startled. Wu Lingfei's words had obviously exceeded his expectations. Tianji Tower doesn't participate in any power struggle because they haven't been provoked. Let's not talk about Tianji Tower first. I owe Yi Shang a favor, so it's that simple for me to meddle in his affairs. When dealing with the Golden Flame sect, I'll use the blood-robed guards. This is my own power so I can kill whoever I want. Wu Lingfei's words were filled with killing intent. I'll arrange it immediately. Lady, you haven't been around for years, so I've promoted a few bloodstrike guards. You can go take a look if you have time, Lei Hua said. Chapter 338. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. There's one more thing. Please take a look at this jade token. Lei Hua stepped forward and handed over the jade token he had copied from Night Sorrow to Wu Lingfei. What does it mean? Wu Lingfei looked at the jade token and asked. This jade pendant belongs to Yi Shang. It's related to his origins. He was adopted. When the people who adopted him saw him, 2 of his guards had died in battle. This jade pendant on his body is the only clue, said Lei Hua. I've seen this jade token before. Wait a moment. I'll think about it. Wu Lingfei took the jade token and looked at it, then closed her eyes and pondered. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. This jade token belongs to a direct descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty, the strongest power in the Taiqing region. Could he be a descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty? Wu Lingfei murmured. Are you saying that Night Sorrow's origin is in the Taiqing region? It's too far away. It's simply unrealistic. Lei Hua said. You don't understand. After a direct descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty awakens their bloodline, not only does their battle strength increase, but they can also use their innate skill, spacecrack. Not only can it be used in battle, but it can also break space. So it's not impossible for him to appear in the Eastern Profound region. Wu Lingfei shook her head and said. So we can be sure that Night Sorrow is a descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty? Lei Hua still couldn't accept it. The Night Moon Dynasty has a strict system. Identity jade tokens won't appear randomly. Behind the jade token, in addition to the family totem, there are also 7 stars. This represents the status of the family. If the jade token belongs to him, then he's a direct descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that this jade token accidentally fell into his hands. The key to determining whether he's a descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty is whether he has an innate bloodline. Wu Lingfei returned the jade token to Lei Hua. Then this subordinate will communicate with him again. Lei Hua bowed and said. He'll definitely go look for his origins. Right now, no one knows what's going on in the Night Moon Dynasty. You can give him some information about the Night Moon Dynasty. Before he reaches the 5th step, he's not allowed to leave the Eastern Xian region. Wu Lingfei added. Lei Hua bowed and left. He knew that there were many things that he needed to arrange. Yin Shui, Hou Yuan, and the others also knew of Wu Lingfei's existence. They knew that she was the leader of Tianji Tower in Eastern Xian region, but they didn't know that she had another identity, the city lord of Dongxian City. Lei Hua was the same. Not only was he the deputy tower master of Tianji Tower, but he was also an elder of the city lord's mansion and the person in charge of Wu Lingfei's forces. Night Sorrow cultivated through the night. When he woke up in the morning, he took out the spear art that Lei Hua gave him and studied it. This spear art was called the 7-star Dazzling Moon Spear Art. After studying it for a while, Night Sorrow smiled. The 7-star Dazzling Moon Spear Art was the same as the Shattering Kill Fist. They both required one to grasp a special technique to exert energy. The 7-star Dazzling Moon Spear Art required the Spiral Tendon Spear Art. It was an offensive spear art, and Night Sorrow had just grasped the spiral energy. While Night Sorrow was studying the 7-star Dazzling Moon Spear Art with a smile on his face, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, who had just finished washing up, came over. What's the matter? Why are you smiling so happily? Yang Lei asked with a smile. The spear art that Tianji Tower gave me requires the spiral energy as the foundation, and I just comprehended the spiral energy in Thunder Tower. Don't you think I'm too lucky? Night Sorrow closed the book and put it away. There's such a thing? Sikong Chuyu said with some surprise. Head O'Hare. Yes, this is a rank 5 combat skill, Night Sorrow said. He was extremely happy in his heart. A rank 5 combat skill is the highest level of combat skill. The Venerable One also used a rank 5 combat skill, but he added the technique of using heaven and earth energy. Love, go little, say, net. Lei looked at Night Sorrow with some envy. I'll give it a try. Night Sorrow got up and went to the courtyard behind the inn. After meditating for a while, he began to cultivate his spear art. As Night Sorrow stabbed out with his spear, an energy vortex appeared at the tip of the spear. After stabbing out with his spear, Night Sorrow withdrew his spear and stood there. After thinking for a while, he stabbed out again. Night Sorrow did not cultivate the later parts of the 7-star Dazzling Moon spear art. He only added the spiral energy to the spear. As Night Sorrow cultivated, Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei observed from the side. As they observed, the shock on their faces became more and more intense. Every time Night Sorrow stabbed out with his spear, it would cause the space to tremble and cause the air to hiss. This was caused by the friction between the energy contained in the spear and the space when the spear's speed reached an extreme. Night Sorrow continuously stabbed out with his spear. This cultivation lasted for 4 hours and perfectly infused the spiral energy into the reincarnation spear. After stopping, Night Sorrow stood there quietly again. Then his body moved. He waved his arm and continuously shot out 3 times. Each shot produced an explosive sound. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow stabbed out again. However, he still shot out 3 times. This situation continued until noon, when Night Sorrow finally shot out his 4th spear. I can only cultivate 4 spear moves. That's all I can do for now, Night Sorrow exhaled and said. The power of this spear art is very strong. I feel that it is at the level of an attack at the beginning of the 5th step, Yang Lei said. The 7-star Dazzling Moon spear art can only display its true power after 7 consecutive shots. The key is to combine the 7 shots into one. The spear known as the Dazzling Moon spear art is the essence of the spear art, Night Sorrow said as he put away his reincarnation spear. Then what's the problem now? Why are you stuck? Yang Lei asked. My true energy foundation is not enough. My instantaneous explosive power is not enough. This spear art has a high requirement for my true energy's explosive speed. After my true energy explodes, I can only support 4 consecutive shots, Night Sorrow said. A 5th step spear art. It is already difficult for you to cultivate it with your cultivation at the 4th step. It has a high requirement for your true energy foundation and it consumes a lot of energy. This is a common phenomenon for high-level battle skills, Yang Lei said as she patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. It doesn't consume much energy. It is not much different from the wind-chasing spear art, Night Sorrow said with a smile. This was what he was most satisfied with. That's good. The spear art is powerful and consumes little energy. You have another trump card. Moreover, there is room for improvement. Your wind-chasing spear art can be eliminated, Sikong Chuyu said. She was very happy to see Night Sorrow's progress. Then what about my shock force and wave force? I have already perfectly integrated the shock force and wave force into the wind-chasing spear art. The 7-star Dazzling Moon spear art is strong, but it is not as smooth as the wind-chasing spear art, Night Sorrow said as he shook his head. When you cultivated the wind-chasing spear art, didn't you also go from shaky to smooth? You can try to change your current spear art. You can add shock force to the body of the spear and spiral force to the tip of the spear. If the first wave of spiral force is not enough to repel the opponent, you can follow it up with wave force. Alternatively, you can fuse shock force and wave force together. You can use shock force to attack first and then burst out with wave force, Sikong Chuyu said. 13. What Chuyu said is right. Perhaps at present, the 7-star Dazzling Moon spear art is not as smooth as the wind-chasing spear art in your hands. However, as you cultivate, the gap will become bigger. After all, the starting point is very different, Yang Lei said. I know. Now that I use this spear art, it is more powerful than the wind-chasing spear art. Maybe I am a little reluctant to give up the wind-chasing spear art. Night Sorrow said with some emotion. Chapter 339. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? Sade Net, providing you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow and the other 2 arrived at Tianji Tower and erected a sign at the entrance of Tianji Tower. Love, go little, say W, Chu, %, First edition $. This made Lei Hua and the others, who were resting and chatting on the top floor of Tianji Tower, speechless. No one had ever dared to do this before. The guards of Tianji Tower would have dealt with them long ago. The guards ignored Night Sorrow and the other two because they saw the conflict between Night Sorrow and the law enforcers yesterday. Even the law enforcers couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow, so they couldn't provoke him. They knew that if there was a need to stop him, the manager would make the arrangements. Lei Hua shook his head. This guy can do anything. I'll go take a look. Lei Hua went down the stairs at the back and arrived at the entrance of Tianji Tower. At this time, he wasn't wearing a mask, so no one knew that he was from Tianji Tower. Seeing Lei Hua, Night Sorrow was startled. When others saw Lei Hua wore a mask, but Night Sorrow and Lei Hua had drunk wine before. Of course, he knew Lei Hua's true appearance. Seeing that Night Sorrow was about to speak, Lei Hua waved his hand. Put away your sign. Don't make a fool of yourself here. I'll help you think of a way. I have some connections. Also, I have something to tell you. Okay. Night Sorrow quickly put away his sign and followed behind Lei Hua. Lei Hua took Night Sorrow and the other two into a tea house and found a private room. The tea in this tea house is not bad. Sir, do you have something to tell me? Night Sorrow asked. Take a look at this information. Lei Hua took out an ancient book, opened it to the middle, and pushed it to Night Sorrow. After taking a look at the ancient book, Night Sorrow was stunned. The information was about the Night Moon Dynasty. There are many people with the surname Yi. I'm not necessarily related to the Night Moon Dynasty, right? Night Sorrow knew a little about the Night Moon Dynasty. Yes. There are many people with the surname Yi. They are not necessarily related to the Night Moon Dynasty, but your jade pendant is from Night Moon Dynasty, Lei Hua said. Are you sure? Night Sorrow stood up excitedly. I can confirm it. Yesterday, I went to see the branch leader. The branch leader confirmed that the jade pendant was from the Night Moon Dynasty. However, if we want to confirm whether you are from the Night Moon Dynasty, we need to go further. Lei Hua reached out and pressed Yi Shang down on the chair. How do we prove it? Yi Shan's emotions were somewhat unstable. Love, go, little, say Chu. The members of the Night Moon Dynasty have a gifted bloodline. After activating the gifted bloodline, they will have the power of space. If you don't have it, we can only confirm if you are from the Night Moon Dynasty when we meet them, Lei Hua said. I have a gifted bloodline, but I don't know if I have the power of space, Night Sorrow said. You have a gifted bloodline? Lei Hua was excited. He was even more excited than Night Sorrow because there were very few people with a gifted bloodline, and even fewer people could activate it. Yes, I discovered it a while ago, but it seems to only increase my cultivation and attack power. There are no other effects, Night Sorrow said. Don't use your true chi. Just activate your gifted bloodline for me to see, Lei Hua said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. After his true chi collided with the energy point under the dragon bone, he retracted it back into his dantian. At this time, a special aura appeared on Night Sorrow's body. This aura pervaded Night Sorrow's body. Lei Hua sensed it seriously, then waved his hand at Night Sorrow. This aura is not simple. It has the power of space, but it also has other attributes. If you have the power of space, it means that you are really related to the Night Moon Dynasty. Love, go, little, say Chu. I am really from the Night Moon Dynasty. I don't know if my parents are safe or not. Night Sorrow raised his head to prevent his tears from flowing. He was not sad for himself, but for the tragedy of the Night Moon Dynasty. When we have time, we will leave the Eastern Profound Domain to look for them, Sikong Chuyu said. She could understand the anxiety and sadness in Night Sorrow's heart. No. Lord K has ordered that Night Sorrow cannot leave the Eastern Profound Domain until he reaches the 5th rank, Lei Hua said. Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Lord Quebec, Night Sorrow said after sorting out his emotions. You don't have to worry about buying a house. I have some connections, so finding a house shouldn't be a problem. Also, you don't have to worry too much about the Night Moon Dynasty. Although they were defeated, they still preserved their strength. Maybe they will come back one day. The one who should be worried is the one who owes the Night Moon Dynasty a blood debt, Lei Hua said. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow nodded. In addition, the Night Moon Dynasty entered the Night Moon Sea. It is a forbidden area. Outsiders can't enter. You can't enter without the guidance of a senior from your family, Lei Hua said. Junior will think about this matter. Knight Sorrow nodded. You live there? If there is any news about a house, I will inform you. Lei Hua left the book to Knight Sorrow and stood up. We live in the return inn not far from the transmission hall. Yang Lei replied on behalf of Knight Sorrow, whose emotions were still unstable. Okay, I will go find you if there is any news. Lei Hua looked at Knight Sorrow and left the tea house. Ninth senior sister, Chu Yu. I really am from the Night Moon dynasty. I wonder how my family is doing. Knight Sorrow closed his eyes and muttered. They should be fine. At the critical moment, they let the guards escape with you. It can be seen that they love you very much. Living a good life and working hard to improve your cultivation is what they want to see. Sikong Chuyu said in a low voice. After drinking tea for a while, Knight Sorrow's emotions stabilized. The three of them went out to the streets to observe the ancient and magnificent Dongxian city. They only returned to the return inn when the sun was about to set. After returning to the inn, Knight Sorrow continued to cultivate the 7-star glorious moon spear. He learned from Sikong Chuyu's advice and added the oscillation scripture to the body of the spear. He added the spiral energy to the tip of the spear and constantly moved his body to attack. Every time he attacked, Knight Sorrow would shoot out 4 times in a row. The 4 spear attacks were very powerful. Seeing Knight Sorrow sweating while cultivating, Yang Lei stood up and walked in front of Knight Sorrow. It's time to rest. Chu Yu and I just looked at the introduction of the Night Moon Sea. I will tell you about it now. Knight Sorrow nodded and put away the reincarnation spear. He then sat down on the chair next to Sikong Chuyu. The Night Moon Sea is a special place in the Taiching region. The entrance isn't big, but it is extremely dangerous. It has always been a forbidden area belonging to the Night Moon dynasty. No one is allowed to set foot in it. Other people can't enter because the entrance is filled with spatial turbulence. Only the Yi clan's ultimate innate skill, spatial rend, can withstand it. This is also the reason why the other forces can no longer attack the Yi clan after they retreated to the Night Moon Sea. Sikong Chuyu explained to Knight Sorrow while holding the book. Knight Sorrow nodded. He understood that the remaining members of the Yi clan were safe. The various forces of the Taiching region couldn't enter the Night Moon Sea to continue attacking. Chapter 340. Genius Remembers Love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew that he couldn't help the Night Moon dynasty, so it was pointless to worry. The Night Moon dynasty is a real royal family. Back then, they came out of the Night Moon Sea and conquered the world. In the future, they will definitely come out again. However, they were schemed against in the last battle, so their vitality was greatly damaged and they need to rest, Sikong Chuyu said. Don't worry, I'm fine. I will only work hard to cultivate. If I were a child of the Night Moon dynasty, I would be able to help when the Night Moon dynasty counterattacks, Knight Sorrow said. You are right. Don't think too much about the past. Look forward to the future. You can conquer the world, Sikong Chuyu said as he handed Knight Sorrow a cup of water. Knight Sorrow nodded and took a sip of the tea from Sikong Chuyu's hand. Don't worry, you too. I know that my parents care about me, so I will be fine, Knight Sorrow said. When there is news from Tianji Tower and we buy a house, we will stay here for a while. We have nothing to do anyway, Yang Lei said. If the Golden Flame sect doesn't attack the Medicine Valley, then we will be fine. If they attack the Medicine Valley, then it will be more troublesome. We will have to go back, Knight Sorrow said. For the time being, they shouldn't. I heard from the first elder that old Ghost John of the Golden Flame sect has been in seclusion. A virtual sky can't do anything to the Medicine Valley, Yang Lei said. She was an elder of the Medicine Valley, so she knew some things. Z head H hair. Then I am relieved. Knight Sorrow nodded. But if we have time, we have to go back to Bamboo Garden Village. Your spiritual liquid origin may improve Old Man Gu's body, Yang Lei said. All right. Upon hearing this news, Knight Sorrow's eyes lit up. Being able to improve Father Gu's body was something that Knight Sorrow was very hopeful of. Also a few words. The Myriad Daos Become God's book is first published by Cool Craftsman. There's no need to subscribe. You can be the first to see the book's updates. Brothers who are reading books on other websites, can you please support cool craftsmen? Be it mobile phones or computers, just Baidu cool craftsmen's myriad DAOs become gods. Shizi needs everyone's support. Thank you. In the next few days, other than cultivating and resting in the inn, Night Sorrow and the other two would walk around Dongxian City when they had nothing to do. They also gained a better understanding of Dongxian City. The strongest force in Dongxian City was the City Lord's Manor. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs. Son, the Black Iron Guards of the City Lord's Manor, had a cultivation base of at least the 4th stage. When the Black Iron Guards killed someone, no one would ask for the reason. This was because the person who was killed was definitely seeking death. In Dongxian City, the Black Iron Guards were the symbol of strength and justice. Next was Tianji Tower. Tianji Tower had powerful guards. If anyone dared to provoke Tianji Tower, they would be mercilessly annihilated. No one doubted the strength of Tianji Tower. Another was a very special organization, Hall of Assassins. The Hall of Assassins was located in a bustling area. There were 3 luxurious storefronts, and only an old man with no cultivation was in charge. The rest were ordinary servants and maids, but no one dared to cause trouble here. Even if it was a 5th-rank cultivator, if they dared to cause trouble in this attic, they would not live to see the next day. Their corpses would even be displayed here. This was the deterrence of the Hall of Assassins. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs. COM Hall of Assassins was an organization of assassins. All they took were hunting missions. There was only a price you couldn't afford to pay. There was no one they couldn't kill. If they kill people as they please, wouldn't the world be in chaos? Night Sorrow asked after learning about the Hall of Assassins. They have their own rules. If you want to kill someone who hasn't done anything wrong, you'll have to pay a high price. If you want to kill someone with great influence, you might not even be able to pay with your entire family's fortune. We don't even need to think about the price of killing a venerable, Sikong Chuyu said. That's good. If they kill people indiscriminately, then the world will be in chaos, Night Sorrow said. Hall of Assassins isn't an evil organization. In history, there have been cases where Hall of Assassins killed a venerable for a piece of silver, Sikong Chuyu said. A piece of silver killed a venerable? Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu in surprise. Yes. It was a mission given by a child who crawled to the entrance of the Hall of Assassins with a knife in his abdomen. A venerable killed the child's entire family in order to snatch a refining material, Sikong Chuyu said. That child deserved to be killed. It's just that the child is very pitiful, Yonglei said. Perhaps the child was very pitiful back then. But later on, he was the only one who pitied others. He later became a top assassin of the Hall of Assassins. The price he paid for killing people was a piece of silver. He wasn't famous in the Eastern Xian domain. In other regions, he was a taboo, Sikong Chuyu said. Very inspirational. That's how a person should be. Night Sorrow was very excited. Only with a firm heart and a persistent perseverance could he have such achievements. While the 3 were chatting, Lei Hua arrived. Behind him was a man in embroidered clothes. Senior. Night Sorrow stood up and greeted him. It's good to know more about certain things. If you look at a matter objectively, you will realize that there is a reason for its existence, Lei Hua said as he sat down. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. This is Steward Lin of the City Lord's Mansion. A few days ago, the City Lord's Mansion killed a corrupt official. He has a courtyard. The location is very good, and the environment is not bad, Lei Hua said. What about the price? Night Sorrow asked. You were introduced by Senior Lei. The price won't be too high. It will be fine as long as I can report back to the City Lord's Mansion, Steward Lin said. Then let's go take a look, Night Sorrow said. After leaving the inn, they all got on their flying mounts and went to the house Steward Lin mentioned. The house was located on the 2nd street behind the main commercial street. It was a residential street. The location was not far from the City Lord's Mansion, Tianji Tower, and the teleportation circle. It was a very good area. The courtyard was very grand. There were majestic stone sculptures of strange beasts at the entrance. After entering, The courtyard was very stylish. There were ancient trees, a lotus pond, and precious ornamental fish. There were wing rooms on both sides, and in the middle was an archway. After passing through the archway, there was another courtyard with a waterside pavilion and garden. Behind it was the main building and the auxiliary attic. Actually, the buildings here are not important. The location and area are valuable, Steward Lin said. The location and style here are good. The rooms can be renovated. How much is the price? Knight Sorrow asked. He had seen many houses some time ago and knew that such houses were the best. 30 high-grade spirit stones will do. If it's not convenient for you, you can hand it in later, Steward Lin said. This price is very suitable. I can hand it in now. Here are a few pieces. Please have some tea, Steward Lin. Knight Sorrow took out 30 high-grade spirit stones and handed them to Steward Lin. Then, he took out 5 pieces and handed them over. Chapter 341. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? Xiaofan provides you with wonderful novels to read. All right, keep it. You're in charge of this area. Tell the patrols to pay more attention to this area. If anyone comes to cause trouble, kill them without mercy, Lei Hua said. Understood. This is the deed for the house and the land. After you sign this one, I'll bring it back for the record. Keep this one. Steward Lin took out 2 sets of materials and a pen. Knight Sorrow took the pen and signed his name. Knight Sorrow, you might not like the layout that others like, mainly because they might not like it. Clean it up yourself. Steward Lin, Knight Sorrow just came to Dongxian City and is unfamiliar with the place. Can you arrange for the workers? Lei Hua said. All right, I'll arrange it. They'll come later. Steward Lin nodded. Then I'll pay you first. Knight Sorrow took out the crystals again. Don't. Craftsmen don't cost much. With the materials, you won't even need to use up a piece of top-grade crystal. Young master, you don't have to be so polite. Steward Lin waved his hand and bowed to Lei Hua before leaving the courtyard. Cultivators have traveled all over the world, but they also need a warm home and a place to stay. It's not bad to clean up this place, Lei Hua said with a smile. Thank you, senior. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands to Lei Hua. It's nothing. You have a fixed location, so it's easy for us to find you. If you have any business, just go to Tianji Tower. When I'm not around, you can just tell Chief Enforcer Yin Shui and Elder Ho Yuan the same thing. Lei Hua smiled and left. The layout here is not bad. We can just tear down these buildings and rebuild them, Yang Lei said. Yes, we can redesign it. But we can't move in for a few days after cleaning up the place, Knight Sorrow said. Don't worry, we'll go to the inn tonight. Yang Lei didn't find it troublesome. She was happy that everything was going smoothly. Knight Sorrow could be considered to have established himself in Dongxian City. It probably won't take more than a few days, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. He was in a good mood after buying this house. How about this? You two stay here and wait for the craftsman. I'll go to our stronghold in the Medicine Valley and ask Elder Chu to send the butler here. We need someone to take care of things here, Yang Lei said. Okay, Chu Yu and I will wait here for the craftsman. Ninth senior sister. You go and arrange other things. Knight Sorrow nodded. It was not suitable for this house to be empty at the moment. Look at the original C chapter. /top plus Yang Lei rode the green condor and left. Knight Sorrow took out some animal skins and made a shack. Sikong Chuyu started to make tea. While Knight Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu were drinking tea, more than 20 craftsmen arrived at the residence, led by Steward Lin. Young master, these are all craftsmen. There are also workers behind to transport the materials. You can just tell them what to do, Steward Lin said. Thank you for your hard work, Steward Lin, Knight Sorrow said apologetically. It's nothing, young Master Knight is too polite. Master Zhang. This is young Master Knight. I won't say anything else. You should understand, Steward Lin said to the craftsman. After that, Steward Lin left. Young Master, young Mistress, do you have any requests for the reconstruction of this house? Master Zhang asked. Do you have a pen and paper? I'll draw, Sikong Chuyu said. Master Zhang took out a pen and paper and handed it to Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow, come, let's draw an idea. Sikong Chuyu waved at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow explained his idea, and Sikong Chuyu made suggestions. The drawing was drawn. Chuyu, your drawing is very good. Night Sorrow said as he looked at the drawing that Sikong Chuyu casually drew. It's not difficult to draw a drawing. I'm good at zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting. I wonder if ninth senior sister is satisfied with this? Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. While Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu were talking, Yang Lei rode the Green Eagle and landed with 2 elders from the Medicine Valley outpost. Night Sorrow, this is Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng from the Medicine Valley. Elder Chu felt that they needed to enjoy their old age, so he asked me to bring them here. Yang Lei introduced them to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow greets Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng. Night Sorrow saluted the old couple. Elder Yang, how should we address him? Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng looked at Yang Lei and asked. His name is Night Sorrow, the 13th disciple of my master. You can call him 13, Yang Lei said. 13th young master. Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng bowed to Night Sorrow. Uncle Feng, Aunt Feng, since you're here, we're family. If you're too polite, you can call me Night Sorrow. This is my fiancée, Sikong Chuyu. You can call her Chuyu. Night Sorrow quickly helped Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng up. Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng stood up and greeted Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu again. Then, Yang Lei asked Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng to familiarize themselves with the place. The problem with the servants hasn't been solved yet. Let's go to the servant market and buy a few later, Yang Lei said as she looked at the busy craftsmen in the courtyard. The loyalty of the servants and maidservants isn't easy to deal with, Night Sorrow said. That's what you don't understand. The servants have a way to control them. They've all been placed with soul-breaking crystals. Sikong Chuyu explained to Yi Shang. In the eastern Xian region and even other places, there were many bandits and thieves. After they were eliminated, the good-looking and strong ones would be controlled and have a soul-breaking crystal placed on their heads. The soul-breaking crystal was a special item. When a crystal was cut in half, one would shatter and the other would shatter. Therefore, once a soul-breaking crystal was placed on someone's head, their life would be controlled by others unless they wanted to die. Then let's go and buy 2. I don't want too many. I like the quietness. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, he asked Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng to watch over the place. Night Sorrow and the other 2 rode on their flying demonic beasts and arrived at the eastern Xian city's servant market. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu chose 2 delicate and pretty girls. Night Sorrow casually looked around. He didn't have any requirements as long as Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu liked them. As they strolled around, Night Sorrow saw a special scene. A man with long hair was bending down to protect a 6 or 7-year-old child. A merchant was using a leather whip to whip him. The leather whip made cracking sounds as it hit the man's body. The man's expression didn't change as he tightly hugged the boy in his arms. The boy hugged the middle-aged man's neck and cried, "Father, I won't leave you." "Won't leave? I'll whip you to death." The merchant continued to swing his whip. "Stop." Yi Shang's heart was touched, and he hurriedly shouted, "These are my goods. What do you want?" The pot-bellied merchant looked at Night Sorrow and asked, "Nothing. Since they are goods, you have to sell them, right? What's the price?" Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 342. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I'll take them all. Night Sorrow said. Someone has reserved the small one and it will be sent away soon. The big one will cost 10 mid-grade spirit stones. The merchant said. 15 mid-grade spirit stones. I'll buy 2. Night Sorrow continued. No, the small one has been sold. The merchant shook his head. 20. Night Sorrow was ready to raise the price. 30. Before the merchant could say anything, Night Sorrow continued to raise the price. Don't talk nonsense with him. Buy the big one first. If someone wants to buy the small one, we'll buy it at a high price. Even if we have money, we won't let profiteers off. Yang Lei said angrily. Only B Original W. Edition. He is a Pirate 2B edition. I'll sell. Hearing Yang Lei's words, The merchant became anxious. Then Night Sorrow gave the merchant 30 mid-grade spirit stones and took a piece of soul-breaking crystal. Then, he left the servant market with the middle-aged man holding the child. After leaving the servant market, Night Sorrow, Yanglei, and Sikong Chuyu returned to the house on their flying demonic beasts with the servants they bought. As soon as they got off the flying demonic beast, the middle-aged man put down the child and knelt down in front of Night Sorrow. "Get up and tell me what you want. A man should stand, even in death." Night Sorrow pulled the middle-aged man up. "This is the first time I'm begging someone. My wife is still in the hands of bad guys. I want to save her. If I don't die, my life is yours. If I die, please treat this child well." The middle-aged man said, "Where is your wife? Can you find her?" Night Sorrow asked with a frown. "She's in Black Dragon Village. My family was caught by them. My wife is still there. Because she refused to submit, they sold me and my son to a servant merchant today." The middle-aged man said, "You were caught back then. You can go now? What's the highest cultivation level there?" Yanglei asked. "It's an early void inquiry stage expert. My father was a third void inquiry stage expert. He was killed by the two of them." The middle-aged man said, "Ninth senior sister, what do you think?" Night Sorrow asked, "Kill them." Yanglei's fiery temper flared up. Sikong Chuyu also nodded. The behavior of Wulong village was disgusting. "Uncle Feng, Aunt Feng, take care of this child and check his injuries." Night Sorrow informed Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng before releasing the flying demon beast and taking off with the middle-aged man. Black Dragon Village was less than 1,000 miles away from Dongxian City. It was just a small village that had some connections with Dongxian City, so it often caught some hunters and sold them as servants. Leaving Dongxian City took a long time. The distance from Night Sorrow's residence to the outskirts of Dongxian City was more than 1,000 li. After 4 hours, they arrived at Black Dragon Village. "Is there a soul-breaking crystal installed on your wife?" Yanglei looked at the middle-aged man and asked. "I don't think so. Mine was installed on me this morning." The middle-aged man said, "Let's save her first. This way, we won't be restrained in battle." Night Sorrow said. Under the middle-aged man's lead, the 4 of them knocked out a few guards and arrived at the dungeon. In the dungeon, Night Sorrow saw a woman who was hung up with blood all over her body. Night Sorrow pressed down on the middle-aged man who was agitated. He wielded the reincarnation spear, opened the dungeon door and put the unconscious woman down. "Ninth senior sister, there is more than one void inquiry stage expert here. We need to take care of the injured. It's not suitable for us to fight." Night Sorrow said. "Then let's leave first. When we are ready, we will come back and destroy this place." Even though Yanglei had a fiery temper, she was not irrational. When Night Sorrow and the others got out of the dungeon and got on their flying demonic beasts, they were discovered by the people of Black Dragon Village. After reaching the void inquiry stage, one's detection ability would be very strong. Black Dragon Village did not cover a large area. Those who were observant would be able to discover the situation easily. When the people of Black Dragon Village surrounded them, the flying demonic beasts of Night Sorrow and the others also rose to the sky. After Tianyu, the Fire Phoenix and the Green Condor took off, the flying demonic beasts of Black Dragon Village also appeared. "Ninth senior sister, come here." Sikong Chuyu called out to Yanglei. Among the mounts of Night Sorrow and the others, the Green Condor was the slowest. At this moment, the middle-aged man and the injured woman were on Tianyu's back. Sikong Chuyu called out to Yanglei to get on her Fire Phoenix. Yanglei kept the Green Condor and landed on the back of the Fire Phoenix in a flash. Night Sorrow directly shot a rotten bone eagle tooth at the flying demonic beasts of Black Dragon Village. Then, he took out his reincarnation spear. The flying demonic beast that was shot by the rotten bone eagle tooth screamed in agony and fell from the sky. After that, the people of Black Dragon Village shouted angrily and did not continue to chase after them. Sikong Chuyu and Yanglei had already made them feel pressured. In addition, Night Sorrow's hidden weapon that killed the flying demonic beast in an instant also made them feel afraid. After leaving the area of Black Dragon Village, Night Sorrow waved at Yanglei. "Ninth senior sister, come and take a look at her injuries." Yanglei moved to Tianyu's back and Night Sorrow moved to the Fire Phoenix's back. The two of them exchanged positions. Yang Lei wanted to take a look at the woman's injuries. It was inconvenient for Night Sorrow to do so. After all, there was a difference between men and women. It's too vicious. Her legs are broken. Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. We don't have the confidence to win now. Let's wait and see. Night Sorrow was also very angry. At the same time, he was also somewhat helpless. This was the way of the world. Today's incident touched Night Sorrow greatly, especially the scene where the middle-aged man used his back to block the whip for the child. Yi Shang had bought the two of them because this middle-aged man was a great father. His face was expressionless as he carried the whip, but his eyes were full of love. This scene was worth Yi Shang's help. Soon, they returned to the house in Dongxian City. Let her rest for a while. Her legs and internal injuries need to be healed slowly. Yang Lei said to the middle-aged man. My life is yours from now on. Ning Yun greets you. Ning Qingfeng pulled the child in front of Night Sorrow and was about to greet Night Sorrow. You don't have to be so polite. This is your soul-breaking crystal. See how to deal with it. Night Sorrow threw the soul-breaking crystal to Ning Qingfeng. He knew that Ning Qingfeng was a man and didn't want to threaten him. Today, he was just helping him morally. Sir, what are you doing? Holding the soul-breaking crystal, Ning Qingfeng looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Everyone has their own difficulties, and everyone has their own misfortune. Today's matter is nothing. Once your wife recovers, you can leave, Yi Shang said. Sir, you can't look at me like that. Whether I have the soul-breaking crystal or not, my life is yours. I dare not forget your kindness. Ning Qingfeng bowed and said, Uncle, don't drive us away. Our house was burned by bad people. Ning Yun said with tears in her eyes. Chapter 343. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Ning Qingfeng's 7th-level spirit severing stage cultivation was not low. Even among the second-generation disciples of the Medicine Valley, he was considered one of the best. His wife was also at the 4th level of the spirit severing stage. It's up to you guys. This place is being rebuilt, so it's not suitable for living. Why don't you guys stay in the inn first and come back later? Night Sorrow said as he looked at the busy craftsmen in the house. Don't worry, we can just get a tent. Ning Qingfeng said. Okay, these two are Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng. We will all live together in the future. You guys can get to know each other. Night Sorrow introduced Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng to Ning Qingfeng. Then, everyone separated. Ning Qingfeng planned to go back and collect his father's body, while Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the inn. Read on the $C genuine edition. Ning Qingfeng's wife was injured, but there was no problem with Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng taking care of her. People from the Medicine Valley had no problem treating injuries. While staying in the inn, Night Sorrow cultivated his true chi and the myriad Dao Tome at night and the 7-star brilliant moon spear during the day. Night Sorrow became more and more proficient in the 7-star brilliant moon spear technique. Every time he waved his hand, he would shoot out 4 spears. At the same time, he could also combine the 4 spears into one. Night Sorrow also skillfully added the vibration force to the reincarnation spear. As for the wave force, Night Sorrow could freely control it to appear on the spear's body and tip. It was the follow-up of the spiral tendon and wave force. After staying in the inn for 4 days, Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the house. The house was completely different from the original. The layout was solemn before, but now it was fresh. 13th Young Master, if you buy some more bamboo, it will be similar to the scenery in the Medicine Valley. Uncle Feng said with a smile. There are still some imperfections here. Uncle Feng, here are the mid-grade spirit stones and gold notes. Please take care of the household expenses. Night Sorrow took out a bag of mid-grade spirit stones and gold notes and handed them to Uncle Feng. All right, don't worry, 13th Young Master. Uncle Feng did not stand on ceremony. He did have some savings, but it was not enough to support such a big family. At this time, Ning Qingfeng supported his wife and led Ning Yun to Night Sorrow and the others. He bowed and greeted them. Don't be like this, you're too polite. Why are you still living in the shack? Isn't the house ready? Night Sorrow saw Ning Qingfeng and his wife coming out of the shack. 13th young master. You have to make the arrangements. We need to have a rule, Uncle Feng said. Uncle Feng, in the future, you can make the decisions for these things. I don't have so many rules. Since we've entered this place, we're family, Night Sorrow said. Uncle Feng nodded and led Ning Qingfeng's family and 2 maidservants to make the arrangements. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu passed through several attics in the courtyard and came to the backyard. Generally speaking, in a house with a front yard and a backyard, the front yard was for the servants and the backyard was for the master. The attics next to the door were usually for the guards, and the housekeeper lived in the middle. Not bad, I like the style here. Looking at the small building in the backyard that had a fresh air, Yishan was very satisfied. The front and middle is yours. 9th senior sister and I live on both sides. The side is the guest room. In the future, senior brother and senior sister will have a place to stay, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow nodded. It was good that the house occupied a large area. In addition to the attics, there was also a garden, a waterside pavilion, and a small martial arts arena. These were all designed by Sikong Chuyu when she was drawing. The 3 of them looked around casually. Every attic had a cultivation room made of obsidian. It was a material that could isolate sound and energy. In addition, every attic had a bath made of firestone. The characteristic of firestone was that the temperature was moderate. It could raise the temperature of cold water to the point where it could be used for bathing. Love, go little, say, W. Chu. Steward Lin really put in a lot of effort. Sikong Chuyu said. She had only asked for a bath and a secret cultivation room. She did not ask for any materials. These good materials must have been arranged by Steward Lin. Lei Hua had personally arranged for Night Sorrow's house to let Steward Lin know that Lei Hua valued Night Sorrow. Therefore, he was especially concerned about Night Sorrow's matters. In Dongxian City, if one's vision and methods were not sophisticated enough, one would not last long. At noon, the 2 maidservants and Aunt Feng prepared the meal. Aunt Feng, you can arrange for them to do this in the future. I didn't bring you here to make you suffer. If there aren't enough servants, we can buy more, Night Sorrow said. Okay. Aunt Feng nodded gratefully. It's true that the 2 of you are maidservants that we bought, but we won't be harsh on you. After 2 years, Aunt Feng will return the soul-breaking crystal to you. It's up to you whether you want to stay or leave, Night Sorrow said to the 2 maidservants. Thank you, young master. The 2 maidservants bowed. They had been worried for the past few days that they would meet their violent master. Now, Night Sorrow's attitude made them feel much more at ease. As for the 2 of you, I won't stop you if you want to stay or leave. As long as you stay, we are family. Night Sorrow looked at Ning Qingfeng and his wife, Han Lin. Young master saved our lives. We husband and wife will never forget. Ning Qingfeng and Han Lin both stood up and said, well, everyone can be more casual in the future. Living under the same roof, it's uncomfortable to be too restrained. Let's eat. Night Sorrow said. After eating, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, Uncle Feng, and Aunt Feng chatted while the 2 maidservants cleaned up. Yang Lei gave Ning Qingfeng and Han Lin some healing pills. After experiencing this ordeal, both of them needed to recover. Thank you, master. Ning Qingfeng and Han Lin were very grateful. Since you decided not to leave, then you don't need to be polite. Just call me Yang Lei, and we will call you Big Brother Ning and sister-in-law. Yang Lei said. She had a good impression of Ning Qingfeng and his wife. Husband and wife love each other deeply, and knowing how to repay kindness were very good qualities. After staying in the front courtyard for a while, the 2 women returned to the backyard to watch Night Sorrow cultivate. Moreover, they also had to cultivate. The following days were peaceful. Night Sorrow cultivated every day without leaving the house. At night, he cultivated the myriad Dao Tome and True Qi, and during the day, he cultivated the 7-star Brilliant Moon Spear. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu went out for a walk every day. Sometimes, they would take Han Lin and Ning Yun with them, while Ning Qingfeng acted as a guard. On this day, Yang Lei and others went out shopping. Night Sorrow had just finished cultivating when Lei Hua came, followed by a man in blood-red clothes. Senior is here. Night Sorrow wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, Good. Your cultivation has improved very quickly. Come, let me introduce you. This is Commander Feng Lai Feng. Lei Hui sat down and introduced Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow greets Commander Feng. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards the man in blood-red clothes. You are too polite. This commander knows about your situation. Very good. The man in blood-red clothes nodded towards Knight Sorrow. Chapter 344. Genius 1 second remember love go/little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. At this moment, Knight Sorrow was looking at Ardent Wind, who was dressed in blood-stained clothes. He couldn't see through Ardent Wind's cultivation, but he could feel that Ardent Wind's aura was very violent and had a baleful aura. He knew that this was the aura that had been accumulated from killing countless people. Ardent Wind is the commander of the City Lord Mansion's guards. If you are willing, you can join the Dongxian City's guards. This way you will have an additional identity, and it will be more convenient for you in the future. Lei Hui said, Senior, I have a lot of things to do. I don't have the time to patrol or carry out missions. Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. The guards under this commander will not carry out any missions easily. They will only take action when there is a threat to Dongxian City. The missions are usually cultivation missions, and the same goes for mid-level guards. If you can, then this lord can give you the identity of a law enforcer. Ardent Wind said. What's the difference? Knight Sorrow asked. Ordinary guards need to gather for training and cultivation, but law enforcers don't need to. They just need to participate in big events. In Dongxian City, other than the City Lord Mansion's elders and protectors, no one can order you around. Ardent Wind said. Then tell me your requirements. Knight Sorrow thought for a while and asked. He felt that it was necessary to have an identity to survive in Dongxian City, a place where dragons and snakes mix together. This lord will use the late stage of the spirit-severing realm. If you can withstand for the time it takes to brew a cup of tea, then you will have the qualifications to become a law enforcer. Ardent Wind said. Knight Sorrow took out the reincarnation spear from his back and nodded at Ardent Wind. Ardent Wind stretched out his right arm, and a 5-foot-long battle blade appeared in his hand. He then slashed it at Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's body moved horizontally, and he waved his spear 4 times to meet Ardent Wind's battle blade. Ding, ding, asterisk ding. Asterisk 4 consecutive sounds rang out as the spear light with a strong penetrating force landed on Ardent Wind's warblade. Not only did it block Ardent Wind's attack, it even forced Ardent Wind to retreat a few steps. Ardent Wind's expression changed as he stomped on the ground. His body rose into the air and once again slashed down at Knight Sorrow. The 3-feet-long blade light carried a biting cold killing intent. Knight Sorrow moved horizontally and waved the reincarnation spear in his hand, thrusting 4 times consecutively towards Ardent Wind's battle blade. After finishing the 4 spear strikes, Knight Sorrow's body moved in a semicircle while his right arm continuously swung. Every time the reincarnation spear struck out, there would be 4 spear strikes. The spear lights would all land at the same place. Sometimes they would attack Ardent Wind's battle blade, and sometimes they would stab Ardent Wind's body. Love, go little, say. Ardent Wind's face was cold and solemn as he waved his saber to block Knight Sorrow's spear light. After exchanging a few blows, Ardent Wind's battle blade slashed horizontally, intending to clash head-on with Knight Sorrow. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear was thrusting towards Ardent Wind's chest. Seeing that Ardent Wind wanted to meet him head-on, the energy of the myriad Tao tome in his body suddenly burst forth. The energy entered the spear body and unleashed the vibrating force. This did not affect the strength of the spiraling force unleashed by his true chi. You're asking for it. Seeing that Knight Sorrow's spear momentum did not change, Ardent Wind let out a low roar. He increased the strength of his battle blade and continued to slash towards Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear. He completely ignored Knight Sorrow's 4 spear lights, because as long as he could shake off Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear, the threat of this spear would no longer exist. Bang! After the 2 weapons clashed, the collision of energy produced an explosive sound. Knight Sorrow's weapon let out a buzzing sound, and the powerful energy vibrated, shaking off Ardent Wind's battle blade. At the same time, the speed of this spear thrust became even more ferocious, and the spear light directly shot out. This scene caused Ardent Wind's expression to change greatly. Instantly, a protective chi barrier appeared on his body, and he quickly retreated. Chi! With a hissing sound, Ardent Wind's protective chi barrier was pierced through. However, his retreating speed was fast enough, so he was not injured. Is this enough? Lei Hua stood up and said. Ardent Wind nodded and looked towards Night Sorrow. This commander has lost this match. Your spear art is very tyrannical, and there are very few people within the fourth step who can contend against you. This is the Dongxian City's law enforcement token. With this token, you can mobilize the city's patrol team and Black Iron Guards. There are also some other privileges, which you will slowly understand in the future. After speaking, Ardent Wind threw a red token to Night Sorrow. Then it settled. Commander Wind, later on, bring Night Sorrow to meet the Black Iron Guard captains in this area. It will be easier for us to communicate in the future. In addition, let Night Sorrow know some of the rules of Dongxian City. Night Sorrow, there are some things that I don't want others to know. Be careful. Lei Hua said. He knew that Night Sorrow might not think about bringing Manager Lin and Ardent Wind here, but with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu's intelligence, they would be able to see some things. Nodding towards Night Sorrow, Lei Hua and Ardent Wind left the house. Hashtag KK First TX Elder. This young man is very powerful. If this subordinate doesn't use his fifth step cultivation in the end, he will be seriously injured, Ardent Wind said after leaving Night Sorrow's house. Yes, he is young, talented, and has strong combat ability. He is a seedling that needs to be paid attention to. The city lord also values him, so you must know, Lei Hua said. This subordinate understands. Ardent Wind nodded. Tonight, bring Yi Shan and the Black Iron Guards to meet with the subordinates. After dealing with this matter, bring the blood-robed guards to the Golden Flame Sect's territory and wait for orders. Lei Hua instructed Ardent Feng. While Night Sorrow was studying the token, Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei returned. What token is this? Seeing Night Sorrow studying the token, Yang Lei took it. Dongxian City's law enforcement token, Night Sorrow said. Law enforcement token? That's even higher than the Black Iron Guard's captain. How did you get it? Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow in astonishment. Then, Yi Shang explained what had just happened. The commander came personally? Tianji Tower's reputation isn't high enough for the City Lord's Mansion's commander to do such a thing. It seems that Senior Lei's identity is not simple, Sikong Chuyu said. Yes, he said that there are some things that he wants to keep a secret. He doesn't want others to know. Night Sorrow nodded. Is that so? But that's good. With official connections in the Eastern Xian region, the other forces won't be a threat to us. Otherwise, people would covet such a powerful house, Yang Lei said. In the evening, Night Sorrow rode the Tianyu to the City Lord's mansion. There, Night Sorrow met Steward Lin and Commander Feng. Steward Lin, bring him to see the Dongxian City's officials and law enforcement rules. This commander will call the Black Iron Guards over, Ardent Feng said. After entering a study, Steward Lin handed Night Sorrow a small booklet. Nodding, Night Sorrow began to study it. Since he had become Dongxian City's law enforcement, there were some rules that he had to abide by. After reading for a while, Night Sorrow understood how strict the Dongxian City's official rules were. The official rules and the law enforcement rules were completely different. The officials had to prioritize the benefits and stability of Dongxian City. If they bullied others for personal benefits, the outcome would be death. Chapter 345. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. While Night Sorrow was looking at the law enforcement rules, Ardent Wind brought a few men in black armor into the room. Come, let me introduce you. This is Night Sorrow, the Night Enforcer. He lives in the back street not far from here. If there is any problem, you can go and find him. If there is any problem, you have to support him immediately. Night Sorrow, these are Captain Lu Jun, Captain Fan Zhongxiao, and Captain Zheng Cheng. Ardent Wind introduced the two parties. Lu Jun, Fan Zhongxiao, and Zheng Cheng cupped their hands towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also bowed in return. Don't underestimate Night Sorrow. I was at a disadvantage when I used my Spirit Severing Stage 9 cultivation. Rank 4 cultivators are no match for him. Ardent Wind said. Subordinate understands. Lu Jun and the other two bowed. Be more serious. Your cultivation is higher than Night Sorrow's, but in terms of combat skills, you are far inferior to him. Night Sorrow's energy usage skills are not something you can catch up to. If you have time, you can learn from each other. Ardent Wind emphasized again. Night Sorrow exchanged a few words with everyone, left a few jars of wine, and left. Wine might be the best medium for communication between men. Only see, positive I version, it's I, he, is AB version. After Night Sorrow left, Ardent Wind and the others opened up the wine jars. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say, www.aichuxs. Com Commander, why did you arrange Night Sorrow to be a law enforcer? Our guard team has no use for such a young master soldier. Zhang Cheng said. That's true. What is his background? Why does Commander have to give him face? Fan Vongxiao also said. Do you think that I am flattering him and giving him face? Now, I am telling you seriously that I am not flattering him. If he was at the same cultivation level, the three of you together would not be his match. Ardent Wind put down the wine jars and looked at the three of them with a serious face. Commander, are you serious? Lu Jun looked at Feng Lai's solemn face and asked. Of course. When have we ever taken in a young master soldier? The other party was powerful. Love, go little, say. Ardent Wind frowned as he spoke. He was somewhat dissatisfied with Lu Jun's group's contempt. We understand. At this moment, Lu Jun and the other two withdrew their contempt. After opening the bottle, Ardent Wind's group of 4 drank to their satisfaction. The main reason was that Night Sorrow's wine was to their liking. Old Zheng, let's go and ask for advice tomorrow and the day after. Let's see how powerful our night enforcement is, said Lu Jun. You guys are aiming for his wine. However, you have to take my words to heart. In terms of combat skills, you guys are trash in front of him. Ardent Wind carried the last jar of wine and left under the eager gazes of Lu Jun and the other two. Night Sorrow returned to the house and began cultivating. In the past, when he came out of Bamboo Garden Village, Night Sorrow felt that a second-stage essence-gathering cultivator was very powerful. He was very envious when he saw Yang San and the others hunting demonic beasts. Later, in the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow saw many core condensation cultivators and felt that core condensation cultivators could be considered experts. However, as he gained more experience, he felt that only the spirit severing stage was enough. Only then could he get the black eye of Tianji Tower and join the Tianji Tower. Now that he had entered the spirit severing stage, Night Sorrow realized that his cultivation was still not enough. He couldn't see through the cultivation of the 3 black iron guard captains he saw today. While Night Sorrow cultivated, Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei sat at the side and chatted with tea. The next day, when Night Sorrow was cultivating his spear art, Lu Jun, Fan Zhongxiao, and Zhang Cheng came. Uncle Feng brought them to the martial arts practice field. You're all here. Sit. Night Sorrow greeted them. I've been to this house before, but it wasn't as stylish as it is now. Come. Let's spar first. Sister-in-law, please arrange lunch for us. That needs wine, Lu Jun said. You came to bully me, and you want to eat and drink for free? Night Sorrow said with a smile. This is a spar. We need to improve together. As the host, don't you want to receive us? Lu Jun said with a smile. After a few jokes, Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, Aunt Feng, and the servant girls went to prepare the dishes. Lord Governor, please allow us to experience your combat techniques. How about this? We will spar with the same cultivation base. Lu Jun spoke. Then Night Sorrow will ask the captains for advice. Night Sorrow didn't argue and went to the martial arts practice field with his reincarnation spear. Lu Jun also went to the field. Like Ardent Feng, Lu Jun's weapon was also a battle saber. Nodding at Night Sorrow, Lu Jun brandished her battle saber and attacked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and executed the 7-star glorious moon spear to fight with Lu Jun. As soon as the battle started, Lu Jun was suppressed. When they clashed head-on, Yi Chang's spiraling energy would push her battle saber away, while the spear would continue to press forward. Lu Jun's battle saber would block Yi Chang's reincarnation spear, but it would be pushed away by the vibrating energy that Yi Chong had infused into the spear. After exchanging over 20 moves, Lu Jun waved her empty left hand and retreated. I can't fight with this. Spiral force and vibration force can't be restrained. Then let me try. Fan Zhongxiao looked at Night Sorrow and went to the martial arts practice field with his battle saber. The following battle was the same as the previous one. Fan Zhongxiao couldn't fight with Night Sorrow if he used the same level of cultivation. Night Sorrow's body was tough and strong. With the addition of the spiral force and vibration force, they couldn't resist. If they used a higher level of cultivation, it would be meaningless. Our overlapping force isn't effective. We will be repelled before the true qi comes up, Lu Jun said with a frown. Lu Jun and the other two used the overlapping force technique. In front of Night Sorrow's spiral force and vibration force, they couldn't unleash their power. Then they chatted and sparred from time to time. At noon, Lu Jun and the other two drank with Night Sorrow. In the afternoon, the three of them left leisurely. These three fellows are here to drink. However, they are easy to get along with and don't put on any airs, Yanglei said. Night Sorrow smiled. They are all straightforward men. Who doesn't lack wine? They are just here to interact. In the City Lord Residence's guard hall, Lu Jun and the other two were drinking tea to sober up. Night Sorrow is indeed worthy of the Lord Commander's high regard. Ignoring his other ultimate moves, just his spear art alone is hard for anyone below the 5th tier to contend with, Fan Zhongxiao said. Let's go when we have time. His spear art is good and the wine is good too, Lu Jun said with a smile. For the next few days, no one disturbed Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cultivated quietly. He didn't really cultivate his spear art. If his cultivation didn't increase, the power of his spear art wouldn't be able to improve. Seeing that Night Sorrow didn't cultivate his spear art, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu dragged Night Sorrow to go shopping. Before they even left the residence, Night Sorrow was stopped by someone. Are you the owners of this residence? The leader asked. I am. Who are you? Night Sorrow frowned. He realized that the person had a high attitude and didn't have any good intentions in his eyes. Scarlet Cloud Sex Qi Yuan. I have taken a liking to your residence. Move out in 3 days, Qi Yuan said. Scarlet Cloud Sect. I have seen it. Why don't I move out? Night Sorrow glanced at Qi Yuan and said. Then don't blame us for being rude. If anything happens, it won't be good for you, Qi Yuan said with a cold face. Is this a threat? Yang Lei said coldly. Chapter 346. Genius 1 second remember love go divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Who are you threatening? Yang Lei was enraged. She drew her sword and slashed at Qi Yuan. She couldn't stand it. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao, say www.ai2xs. So Qi Yuan also took out his weapon and fought with Yang Lei. The others also made their moves and rushed toward Night Sorrow. This was Dongxian City. Battles of all sizes occurred every day. It was a competition of strength. This was the law of the jungle. Doing business required backing and protection fees. Otherwise, they would be devoured and suppressed. This was the way of the world. The guards didn't care about such matters. Dongxian City was too big. As long as they didn't cross the line and didn't touch the properties under the city lord's mansion, they would be fine. The battle was very intense. The people Qi Yuan brought were very strong. He was a tier 5, and the other middle-aged man was also a tier 5. There were also 3 tier 4 followers behind them. After the original owner of Night Sorrow's house was captured and killed by the city lord's mansion, Qi Yuan wanted to buy it. However, before he could figure it out, the house fell into Night Sorrow's hands. In the first few days, Qi Yuan didn't dare to make a move. If he didn't know the details, he would easily run into a wall. After a few days, Qi Yuan didn't find anyone who came to Night Sorrow's house. He didn't know Lei Hua. Lu Jun wore casual clothes that day and came to visit casually. Qi Yuan's people didn't recognize her. Therefore, Qi Yuan determined that Night Sorrow only had some relationship with Steward Lin. He wasn't afraid of his relationship with Steward Lin. Steward Lin was a civilian official and wouldn't be involved in the battle. The battle was very intense. Knight Sorrow and Ning Qingfeng crippled Qi Yuan's Tier 4 followers. Take care of the others. After instructing Ning Qingfeng, Knight Sorrow rushed toward Qi Yuan, who was fighting with Yang Lei. All of you will die. Qi Yuan roared and waved his hand to send a signal. Soon after the signal was sent out, more than a dozen people arrived. The old man in the lead knocked Yang Lei back with a palm strike. Then, Sikong Chuyu also retreated to Knight Sorrow's side. Love, go little say, Ku, what's going on? The old man looked at Qi Yuan. Uncle, they are not willing to back down for this house. They want to fight us to the death, Qi Yuan said. At this moment, hundreds of black-feathered eagles appeared in the sky. Then, people jumped down from them. Bang! Bang! Following the violent stomping of the ground, the black-armored guards surrounded the people from the Scarlet Cloud sect. The leading black-armored man walked up to Knight Sorrow and lifted his helmet. What's the situation? The man who lifted his helmet was none other than the captain of the Black Iron Guards. Lu Jun, nothing much. It's just that they had their eyes on this house and wanted me to move out. I didn't agree, so they started fighting. Then, their reinforcements appeared, Knight Sorrow explained briefly. How arrogant! Lu Jun laughed. Sir, the Black Iron Guards only kill people who break the law, right? Our Scarlet Cloud sect pays crystal stones to the City Lord Mansion every year. Sir, please don't interfere in this matter, the old man said. That's normal, but not today. He is a Black Iron Guard of Dongxian City. Now that you are robbing the Black Iron Guards of Dongxian City. What a joke. Tell me, what should I do? Brothers, what should I do? Lu Jun put down her mask. Kill! The Black Iron Guards roared. The old man's expression changed. Qi Yuan and the others also retreated in shock. Captain, there's a misunderstanding here. The old man was Elder Qi Ying of the Scarlet Cloud sect. His scalp was tingling. He knew that he had caused a big mess today. Misunderstanding? You've already attacked, and now you're telling me that it's a misunderstanding? Take down everyone who attacked today. If you have the ability, fight back and run for me. Lu Jun sneered. Run. Who would dare to run? They might be able to run for a while, but they would definitely be caught. Moreover, if they ran, it would implicate the sect. If anyone dared to run today, the Black Iron Guards would wipe out the Scarlet Flame sect. A Black Iron Guard wasn't scary, but there was a high commander above them. The Black Iron Guard stepped forward and captured Qi Yuan and the other 4 who attacked. Drag them to the side and kill them. Don't dirty the road, Lu Jun ordered. Qi Ying's eyes twitched. 2 rank 5 elites were going to be killed just like that. However, he didn't dare to say anything or do anything. If he had the intention to resist, he would be taken down. At this moment, Ardent Wind appeared in black armor and a red cloak. This commander wants to have a drink, and such a thing happened. Is this robbery? Ardent Wind looked at Lu Jun and asked. Yes. Lu Jun nodded. Then what are you waiting for? Why are you looking at this commander? Kill them. You are from the Scarlet Cloud sect, right? Remember this house. If anything happens here, you know the consequences. Scram. Ardent Wind roared at Feng Ying and the others. Take the corpses away. Seeing Qi Ying and the others leave, Lu Jun shouted again. Many thanks, Lord Commander. Many thanks, Big Brother Lu Jun brothers. Let's not talk about other things. Let's find a restaurant. Knight Sorrow put away his reincarnation spear and said, I like your straightforward temper. Brothers, let's go. Ardent Wind shouted at Lu Jun and the other members of the Black Iron Guards. In a restaurant, Knight Sorrow set up a banquet and entertained the Black Iron Guards with good wine and dishes. Lu Jun, pass the signal to Knight Sorrow. There are too many people who don't know their place. Our Black Iron Guards law enforcement house was robbed. Even if we didn't succeed, it would be embarrassing, Ardent Wind said. Lu Jun nodded and took out a few small iron pipes and handed them to Knight Sorrow. The banquet lasted for a long time before Ardent Wind and the others left. It's really not good to not have an official status. There will be conflicts at any time, Yang Lei said with some regret. That old man's cultivation is very high. He's at the mid-5th rank. 9th senior sister and I can't stop him. However, Commander Feng's cultivation is even higher. If he dares to show a trace of dissatisfaction or even a trace of resistance, he will still be killed, Sikong Chuyu said. The Golden Fire sect and the Scarlet Cloud sect hate us to the core. We can't hide the news of our arrival in Dongxian City from them. They won't dare to make a move in Dongxian City, but they will still keep an eye on us, Yanglei said. At this moment, in a courtyard belonging to the Scarlet Cloud sect, Qiying flew into a rage and smashed the tea set into pieces. Elder, the results are out. Those people are from the Medicine Valley. That young man is Knight Sorrow, the disciple of the Medicine Valley's Valley Lord. The woman in the blue dress is also a disciple of the Medicine Valley's Valley Lord. There is no news about the woman in the white dress, a disciple of the Scarlet Cloud sect said. Send people to keep a close eye on their movements. In addition, pass down my order. If there is any conflict with the Medicine Valley, no matter how big or small, they have to back down, Qiying ordered. He was sullen when he gave this order. As one of the 7 superpowers of the Eastern Xian domain, he had to back down to the Medicine Valley, a first-class force. Look at the section of $L_chapter-. Chapter 347. Genius 1 second remember love go/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After leaving the restaurant, Knight Sorrow and the others casually strolled around the street before returning to the house. The house now had a name. On the lintel were the words, Pure Heart Villa. It was a name given by Sikong Chuyu. 13. Today's matter wasn't too troublesome, right? Ning Qingfeng asked. I've made Big Brother Ning worry. I have an official status, so they won't dare to touch us openly, Knight Sorrow said. After spending some time together, Knight Sorrow and Ning Qingfeng's family had become familiar with each other. They were much more casual with the way they addressed each other. That's good. This world is really chaotic. Be careful when you go out in the future, Han Lin said. Big Brother Ning. This is the Black Iron Guard's message signal. If anyone comes looking for trouble when I'm not around, send a signal for help. The safety of this place is very important. Knight Sorrow gave Ning Qingfeng one of the Black Iron Guard's message signals. Ning Qingfeng nodded. He wasn't afraid of dying in battle, but the safety of this house was more important. Then Knight Sorrow and the others returned to the backyard. There shouldn't be any problems. Commander Feng came here by coincidence, but he also said that he would inform the other commanders. Also, the Red Cloud sect won't continue to make things difficult for us. They aren't afraid of us, but they are afraid of the power of the City Lord Mansion, Knight Sorrow said. You improve your cultivation. We'll go back to the Medicine Valley to take a look. Yang Lei nodded. She was still worried about the situation in the Medicine Valley. After nearly a month and a half of cultivation, Knight Sorrow's cultivation had improved a lot. His chi wasn't far from the peak of the 5th level of the Spirit Severing stage. His cultivation of the Myriad Dao Tome was about to reach the peak of the Bone Forging stage. However, Knight Sorrow didn't have many Flood Dragon Bone Forging pills left. Knight Sorrow calculated that it was enough to last him until he broke through to the Bone Forging stage. While Knight Sorrow was cultivating, Ardent Wind also reported the situation with Knight Sorrow to Lei Hua. After hearing Feng Lai's report, Lei Hua's face turned cold. You still need to go to the Golden Flame Sex area and wait for orders. Go to the Bloodstrike Guard's base and call Commander Qin over. If I don't teach this Scarlet Flame sect a lesson, they really won't know how strong they are. Yes. Ardent Wind bowed and went to make the arrangements. If this had happened to any other Iron Guard, Lei Hua wouldn't have paid so much attention to it. However, Knight Sorrow's identity as a member of the Tianji Tower was personally instructed by Wu Lingfei to take care of him. Lei Hua couldn't be careless at all. Even if he had to remove the Scarlet Cloud sect's influence in Dongxian City, he couldn't let anything happen to Knight Sorrow. While Lei Hua was thinking about this, a woman wearing black armor appeared in front of him. Qin Nan greets Elder. The black-armored woman bowed. She was the commander of the blood-robed guard. Go and make the arrangements. Get rid of a few members of the Scarlet Cloud sect who are at the 5th stage and above, Lei Hua said. I'll do it right away. Qin Nan nodded. There's another mission. Pay close attention to Night Sorrow's situation. If there's any existence that threatens Night Sorrow, get rid of them.
Ignore those of the same level, Lei Hua said.
All right, but I have a few questions, Qin Nen said. Speak. Lei Hua nodded. Since the city lord isn't here, the blood-robed guard will obey Elder's orders. However, is it appropriate for Elder to transfer half of the blood-robed guard's forces to the Golden Flame sect? Qin Nen asked Lei Hua. The fact that you're asking these questions proves that you're very loyal to the city lord. This is the city lord's will. I'm going to see the city lord. Come with me. Lei Hua said as he stood up. Qin Nan was the commander of the blood-robed guard and had followed Wu Lingfei for many years. She didn't doubt Wu Lingfei's loyalty, so Lei Hua planned to take her to see Wu Lingfei. On a mountain north of Dongxian City, Lei Hua and Qin Nan met Wu Lingfei. Greetings, Your Excellency. Qin Nan knelt on one knee. Stand up and speak. I haven't been in the city all these years, so I've troubled you a lot. Wu Lingfei waved her arm and used her energy to help Qin Nan up. Your Excellency, I have something to say. Lei Hua bowed. Speak. You and Qin Nan have followed me for the longest time. There's nothing to hide. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow is very likely a descendant of the Night Moon dynasty. He has an innate bloodline. I've investigated it and found that not only does he have the power of space, but he also has a special attribute. I've never seen that attribute before, but it's similar to the legendary Void attribute, Lei Hua said. Then he should be a descendant of the Night Moon dynasty. Pay attention to his safety. As I said before, don't interfere in battles between people of the same level. If anyone tries to take advantage of their seniority, kill them, Wu Lingfei said. A few days ago, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, I arranged for him to be a law enforcer in the Black Iron Guard. In the end, some people from the Scarlet Cloud sect tried to rob his house yesterday and there was a conflict, Lei Hua said. Scarlet Cloud sect. Their arrogance knows no bounds. Qin Nan, because of Lei Hua's status, it's inconvenient for him to show up. When it's necessary, you'll do your best to help. Wu Lingfei said. Head. Your Excellency, Qin Nan bowed. Although the strength of the Eastern Xian region can't be easily destroyed, some branches still have to be dealt with. Wu Lingfei muttered to herself. Lei Hua, arrange for the venerables of the Tianji Tower to go to the Golden Flame sect's area. If the Golden Flame sect tries to deal a fatal blow to the Medicine Valley, then act immediately. Since the Golden Flame sect and the Medicine Valley can't coexist, then leave one behind. Remember, Night Sorrow is my benefactor, and he's also very important to the Eastern Xian region. You'll understand in the future. Wu Lingfei ordered. There's one more thing, which is the main purpose of this subordinate's visit. Last time, this subordinate only told you that Night Sorrow has the Destiny Stone. Now I know that the supervisor of the Tianji Tower has made a deal with him and wants to borrow it. Isn't the Destiny Stone very important to my lord? Is it appropriate for him to leave the Eastern Xian region? Lei Hua asked. I know about this matter. I've seen the Destiny Stone before. He doesn't need it now. Let him make his own decision. Wu Lingfei shook her head and said. Then Lei Hua and Qin Nan left the area where Wu Lingfei was cultivating. Elder, what's the situation with Night Sorrow? How could my lord be indebted to him? Qin Nan asked, puzzled. If my lord says so, then there must be. You know that this subordinate has a status in the Tianji Tower, so it's not convenient for me to appear. After all, the Tianji Tower has many restrictions on its members. You have to pay attention to Night Sorrow. This is the main reason why this subordinate brought you to see my lord today. I'm afraid that if you don't take it seriously, you'll make a mistake. Lei Hua said to Qin Nan. This subordinate will definitely carry out my lord's orders without hesitation. Then, I'll eliminate a few high-level members of the Scarlet Cloud sect and teach them a lesson. Qin Nan nodded and said. Later, you'll go and see Night Sorrow. He's now the enforcer of the Black Iron Guards. It's appropriate for you to meet him. Lei Hua said. All right, my lord's aura seems to have changed. Is he about to reach the legendary realm? Qin Nan asked, his eyes full of curiosity. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.